my partner does not like either of those and likes black teas better.
I'm more of a like I'll make a giant pitcher of like iced green tea with peach or watermelon flavoring in it, or just straight watermelon.
Oh, that sounds delicious.
It is, it is, it is. I love it. And I say a massive iced pitcher because I get myself busy a lot. So even with cooking as well, I like to do things in bulk.
Yeah, we have some pictures going just because it's so bloody hot here at the moment.
I live in Texas. How hot do you think it is here?
Well, the problem is that I'm in Vancouver and none of the buildings have air conditioning
Ah, yes.
because it didn't used to get hot enough to need it. It used to be like the yearly high was like 80. And now it's like 95 outside, and we're just like, fuck me. This isn't hot compared to LA where we used to live, but we don't have AC.
I see the problem. I see the problem. Because Texas, everybody's used to it being, roughly 3 miles closer to the sun every summer. So there's tons of air conditioning, ice makers are supercharged, the whole shindig. Alright, I'm just going to make sure that it's smooth the way it should be, if you'll pardon me.
No problem. I'm looking at your stream and there's an ad going, but once it's done, I can give you some feedback too.
And then if it's pretty smooth, maybe I can stream it to you at the same time, which would be ideal so that you can see what's going on in real time, which I wasn't able to do for Nemo, which I feel bad about.
Right. I remember that's what we did last time, but
Hey Eleanor, hello Spider. Is this a match? No. This is me making sure we're not going to have any technical issues.
wait a minute. Have you been streaming me ranting about teas?
I told you we were going live. And besides, listen, everybody loves you, so it's okay.
Uh, how are you, Internet? How are you doing?
I don't know in which part of your T rant it actually went live because Twitch is not super reliable about that.
That is fair. Well, if anyone is listening, this is a shout out to Murchie's Fine Teas. Murchie's Teas, making me a caffeine addict since 2020.
Okay, that's like shockingly smooth, so I'm gonna try and stream it to you directly through Discord and see what that
Great.
does.
Yes, it is Dago. Hello, chat. I've not been very active in Starsector lately, but I remember you all.
Okay, it hiccuped a bit, but it seems to have recovered. How's the
Yeah.
video on your end?
Video on my end, both of them look smooth and good. Let me pop this out and make it a little bigger.
Howdy Lightning, howdy Tilt.
Yeah, looks great over here.
Lovely, lovely. Alright, let's... One more test. The most intensive test I can think of. I forgot to actually deploy them on this mission.
I love the aesthetics of these ships.
I know, right? Did you know that I'm actually technically in charge of this mod now?
I did not. Congratulations.
Don't congratulate me yet. Basically the author is just done with Starsector and modding. And I
Yeah,
was one of
that
the people
happens.
talking to him at the time. The problem is, I am incapable of art. I cannot possibly replicate his style, and I have a lot to learn about code.
Well, still, I mean, you should be able to at least maintain it, and everyone's friendly, so.
Yeah, I've had offers from like Yui, for example, to help me figure out parts of the code necessary to make adjustments, balance it a little bit, get some parts working better than they do right now. Maybe do some cool stuff.
Cool. Yeah, I have not done Starsector coding in a bit, but I can give you at least some consulting on stuff if you need it.
I mean, you're kind of, very lovely, so I won't say no to that.
Why, thank you. Ah, I love the big purple shield.
I love field shield systems. Like, I have a
Mhm.
personal project I'm working on, and I want some field shield ships in it. And those projectiles are impacting not on the board of the shield, but slightly inside it, and that is pissing me off.
I actually really like it. I think it makes it look 3D.
You
I
know
think it makes
what?
it looks like a giant bubble, and they're kind of like halfway up the slope.
You know what? You're right. I take it back. The abs English, the three-dimensional impression is a good point. Is that its normal shield? Like, has it had its normal shield system replaced with that? It's hard to tell.
I have not seen it raise another shield, so I think that might be its shield.
But if it is, like, look how it's intersecting that without bumping it around.
Yeah, it's really cool. It looks like they changed the collision group on it. But they must have also it must be like a totally custom effect, because normally the AI of one ship will try to avoid the shield bubble of the other.
Yeah, so that can't be the normal shield. Or if it is, it's been massively modified.
Maybe they did. It's a cool effect. Oh, that's interesting. There's another projectile coming through on the right. It was shot at the other ship, and it went through the edge of the shield. Well, I don't know how that shield works at all, but it looks cool.
Well, we appear to be pretty smooth. More so than I expected, certainly. So, from here on out, running that bloody benchmark mission for a half an hour before I plan to stream is my new normal.
Hey, if it gets everything loaded. And now, with my best adventure voice, announcer voice, welcome, 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 everyone, to Stream 3! Excuse me.
Yep, we'll be finishing off the second round today. And since you haven't seen anything, I will go over the loadouts with you. Since
I've seen
them.
a little bit. I've seen some. But I love going over loadouts. It's one of my favorite things.
I know it is. It's also one of my favorite things. Alright, well, this seems smooth. No need for further testing, I don't think. Full AD run could be pretty cool. You mean for like a tournament thing or just a campaign run? Campaign, I would agree. ED has a lot of very cool stuff. Okay, let me just pull myself over to my little score table here. Is it where I left it? It is. So we're starting off with Idiopathic, who's got a fleet that's basically, I'm not going to die so that you will die first. Versus the Holy Knight Hrothgar, second of his name, and I believe it was Crusader Burnt Pies? Crusader Burnt Pies. Very fancy.
Nice.
Idiopathic has only had one match, but they won. Meanwhile, Hrothgar and Pies have lost their 3 matches so far. So, what Idiopathic's going for? You're not familiar with the whole mods I'm using, I don't think.
Probably not, no.
Auto-struct manufacture here is basically hull regeneration.
Heresy!
Yes. We've also got makeshift shields on this module. This one already has a shield and the core module.
That's really nice. I love getting second shields on modules. I think it looks great, and I think it's also, like, just really effective.
Yeah. We do have a hex cannon here, which is a 1200 range composite.
Nice. It's a beautiful range.
We have a couple tiny gun modules over here, which have been converted hangared and given bobulated herald armor, which increases the armor, right? Makes it resistant to EMP, gives it a tiny bit of regeneration, but makes it more vulnerable to kinetics and fragmentation.
Oh, that's an interesting trade-off.
Yes. Both these side modules are set up the same way. The gun module has a Devastator, a Mark IV, and a Matsar, as well as Auto-Struct and Populated Herald. And then the Hangar module is all longbows, Auto-Struct, Populated Herald, a mod that just increases the hull and armor a tiny bit. And then Thrush warheads, let's see, it increases missile speed, doubles their range, reduces maneuverability, so it turns them into like cruise missiles.
Oh, that should be nice on the Hurricane there. Get it really reaching out.
Yeah, I think that's the idea. And then we have a Chihuahua here. Do you remember what these do?
I do not. I was on the stream where they were there, but I wasn't paying attention to them.
The Chihuahua has no shield, has no phase cloak. What it does is it makes illusory clones of itself it can swap with.
That is super neat.
Yes. It has the hull mods I mentioned before, along with a hull mod that takes... this hull mod is supposed to take things that have a phase cloak and turn it into damper field. I don't know how
Interesting.
that interacts with the Chihuahua system.
Do all the little clones refuse to die? That would
Well,
be a bit of an exploit.
the clones don't take damage. As soon as they're shot, they dissipate.
Ah, okay.
You have to figure out which one is the real one, but it's very good at teleporting away from bullets if it has any clones left.
Someone's been reading the mirror image spell.
Yes. The Iris. This is the Iris because it has Fortress Shield and PD specialization. This is one of those distraction destroyers, similar to the Monitor. Except this one's been given a Paladin, safety overrides,
Oh.
and a Fault Line Shield, which it can dissipate its hard flux, but the shield costs 2 times as much to keep up and takes more flux by a matter of 50%. And flux conduits halves total dissipation.
Oh, that is also an interesting trade-off. I really like the Paladin's ability to shoot over allies. If there's a fighter missile-heavy enemy fleet, these could do a lot of work.
Yep. Oh, it also has one kneecapper, which is a tiny missile that splits into EMP bomblets. It's very cute.
That's why not.
We have Shibas. These are the big versions of the Chihuahuas. They do the exact same thing.
Okay.
Except they
Excellent.
also are able to spit like tiny, basically EMP flares. And they've
Really
been
love
given a
the
Zyphos
graphics.
as well.
That is a beautiful ship.
Isn't it? We have here a Leonberger, which is a phase capital. It's
I
been
remember
given
this
the
thing blowing things up.
damper field. You'll notice, how many weapons do you see on this thing?
Not
It is
many.
very empty, and the few weapons it has, we have a Devastator, assault chain gun, HMG, a flak, and an LDMG over here. It's not exactly got a lot of weapons. But if you look at the list of hull mods, it's clear the idea is I don't want this to die ever.
That's against my usual design philosophy. I have to say, I like blowing up the enemy rather than just surviving. But
And then
we'll see.
sure enough, we've got some monitors, kitted out with a kneecapper and a Reaper, and some of the mods that you are now familiar with. And these monitors over here are given every shield hull mod in existence and no weapons.
Is this fleet designed to be like the streamer just cries as it refuses to die?
This fleet is designed so that none of this dies, so that the big dreadnought will eventually kill things, because everyone's distracted with all of this nuts.
Yeah, it's not a terrible idea, as long as the big thing has enough killiness.
Theoretically, yes. Meanwhile, Holy Knight Hrothgar. First off, we've got an LC Liberator, which means it's got a hammer barrage as opposed to normal. We've also got the Baffler ADL. I don't know if you've seen this thing. It spits a bunch of mines. It's wonderful. I love it.
Yeah, I've seen this one. This is a really cool weapon.
I adore it. We've got a bungalow with a bunch of drakes, which basically have a tiny Devastator cannon inside them. It's great. We have an Acclamator with hypervelocities and ion beam. You've noticed hypervelocities over here too, so we are going for being able to outrange the opponent. We've got some Adjudicators, again with hypervelocities and bafflers, which I'm incredibly happy with. CGR Hammerheads with hypervelocities and hardened shields as well. Oh, and these are, imagine an Annihilator, kind of. That's basically the Mbeke.
Gotcha. Interesting choice to put Vulcans in the front there. So that's a kind of a real big reduction in close-range firepower in exchange for good missile defense.
Yeah, it looks like they're going for being at range.
Mm.
A Marauder with a Velocity and a Mauler, naturally.
More range, yep.
The Ignis LC with the longest range small you can get, the Gallant Light Railgun from Talon, and a triple mortar behind it. We have a Spade Mark II with a Flamethrower, which makes it automatically one of the best things here.
On the back, I like it.
Yes, and then we've got a Condor with Arma wings. I don't know if you're familiar with them. The Vulcan X Close Range and the Vulcan Standard.
Nice.
It itself just has a Heavy Nixus Launcher, which is the autoloading missile from Yui's mod. It floats over to the enemy, similar to a Sabo, and then splits into a bunch of little projectiles.
Cool.
We have the Nachtgesang, with a bunch more Nixai, combat lasers, drivers, and Record Breaker Caldefrax, which have EMP emitters.
So here's some of the kill of this fleet right here.
Yep. And then we have a Configuration C Regalia with the very long-range kinetic rifle and the equally long-range explosive beam.
Okay, so going for kiting mechas.
Yep, and then a Configuration
Sure.
F Regalia, which is just 2 of the kinetic long-range rifles. So, no, like, specific strategy on Hrothgar and Pai's part, but very long-range, somewhat focused on kinetics, and then this fleet refuses to die. Basically.
Well, let's see what happens.
But first we must bet on lobsters.
Lobster!
So let me type this up.
I think I'm gonna give my opinion here to Hrothgar. Maybe
You
I'm
think so?
wrong. Yeah. I like offense more than defense. So
I mean, I don't
we'll see how
blame
wrong
you.
I am.
Mistyped that. There we go. Alright, the bet runs for exactly 1 minute, and then we start the fight.
You have a cat that wants attention.
Yes, she does. I'm going to discourage that because she's about to start clawing the door.
Ah.
Come here, you. Come here.
I have distracted the streamer. Now the stream is mine.
Get up
Mine.
here. If you're gonna meow into the microphone. Sit here where I can keep control of you. Okay, nobody's betting on Hrothgar. That's kind of sad.
Well, they all know that I said that I thought they'd win, and that's a pretty good sign that they're gonna lose. My record in predicting tournament winners is abysmal.
Is it? Maybe you'll be proven wrong
Sometimes.
today. Wrong.
Ah, that's
Wrong.
such a chunky ship.
Isn't it? I mean, you know the Leonberger isn't a small ship. This thing is just massive.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
it's
I
got
remember-
central TPCs, by the way. That's what that valley is.
Ah, and that helps with firepower.
Yep. I'll look at the
Remember
Shivas
seeing
here
in
so
the-
you can see them duplicate themselves. That system they have.
Cool. The cat proves.
Yep. I love seeing the
these
Baffler
lead-
ADL impact something completely like that.
These Leonbergers have regenerating hull, right?
Yes. So it will be difficult to kill them if they are able to get away. Lagfest again? It appears to be smooth. How bad? I'm looking at my own output, it looks fine. Lag appears to have bonked? Been bonked or is bonked?
So it looks smooth to me, looking at the, Those Leonbergers are nuts.
Yeah, they're just disrupting the fleet at this point.
You know, I have to say, I'm not a fan of regenerating hull. Just in general, because it leads to, things like this. Although, I guess that hasn't come into play yet.
Yeah, they still haven't broken the armor. The Leonberger does have good armor by default, but they've also stacked every armor mod possible on it.
Hooray!
UGH, which is where most of these hull mods come from, it's Proconus' work. That's a dead Regalia. To ram damage. I honestly allowed that mod in earlier than I should have. It was still a new thing. But, oh well. It has made for some really, really cool stuff. You should absolutely watch some of the streams back. There are some very hype fights.
Cool. Yeah, I did see some of their stuff in action before. I've seen Leonbergers just chewing shit up. I don't know if that was this fleet or another fleet.
Bit of hitching here and there? Okay. It should work itself out, but if it becomes really consistent, maybe Thalgo has to suck it.
No.
Ouch. Yeah,
You know, I
Hrothgar and
think-
Pies are getting eaten up here, sadly.
Yeah, absolutely. I think part of the issue is that
Bye, Acclimator.
they need a lot more raw DPS in order to deal with the Leonbergers being super tanks. Like I saw the Leonberger getting hit with, with Hellbore rounds, and they didn't even break the armor.
Yep.
And meanwhile, HVDs are wonderful guns, but they don't have raw DPS.
No, they have EMP, which helps, but they don't have like a lot of EMP.
Well, I'll be real. I feel like Reapers are how you deal with ships like this. You know what I mean? You just lots of Reapers everywhere.
But yeah, poor Rothgar and Pies are just kind of getting torn up here.
Absolutely.
And yeah, the fact that these things are basically in a permanent damper field rather than their phase cloak, yeah, it's not as good as a serious damper field, but it's still reducing damage.
Well, I've seen them take enough hits that a normal phase ship should have their armor broken.
You have to remember, they replaced their phase cloak with a pseudo damper field. They can't avoid damage, but they're not taking as much as they should.
It does not strike me as particularly balanced, but I'll leave that up to other people.
There have been a lot of balance questions for the course of this. But we've managed to still have a pretty fun tournament so far.
That's good.
I
like
love
that
these,
just
though, that magnetic ram.
Yeah. My feeling is that if a capital ship explodes on you, you should at least take some armor damage. Oh no, that just took some hull damage. Okay. Alright. One of the Leonbergers has its armor broken.
Yep. And a small chunk of hull removed. Bit too late, though. Is there anything left?
Well, that was an explosive fight.
Oh right, the Acclimator got sent all the way over here. Now it's dead. Poor thing. Alright, let's see. 2, 16, 36, 42? 42. Idiopathic wins with a loss of only 42 DP.
At least it wasn't a shame.
It wasn't a shame, that's true. Did take out about a sixth of his fleet. You know, not inconsiderable.
This is why, young kids, you should put Reapers on all your ships. All of them. Even the ones without missile mounts.
Now our next fleet is one of my favorite versus one of my not favorite. I'll go over the not favorite first.
Oh my god.
So Archangel went for abusing my rules as harshly as possible to make a missile spam fleet, and succeeded.
I mean, that's what you're supposed to do, isn't it?
I went with some experimental rules to try and limit missile spam, and in each round, ring, somebody broke it. It was pure tilt in the first, and it's Archangel this one. They went for different strategies, though. So Archangel, they basically stacked, you know, survivability hull mods, ECCM, Spandy racks, and then Thrush warheads, which again reduces maneuverability, increases speed and range, right? And then we have here a ship with no guns, just Hecaton torpedoes and kneecappers.
Sounds about right.
A Mercury with just kneecappers.
Mercuries.
A Spectre with just Locust. Well, I mean, it's only got the one slot, so that's not surprising, but still. A Legion with a bunch of Hecatons, some Bafflers, which are sort of missile-y, and no actual guns. It has Record Breakers and Cackles, both of which are EMP emitter fighters.
On the other hand, they're using Legions, so you have to give points for that.
Do
Style
I?
Points. Yes, Legions are super stylish, and usually not very effective. So I give them all the power for using Legions.
I don't know if I agree that Legions are stylish. A Razorback with 2 Fount Swarmers. An Archer with 3 Dulces and 1 Swordbreaker, which is kind of a gun, albeit PD. An Atlas Mark II with 2 Matsars and the Bafflers. Another Boar. And some Ghouls with Pendragon Merv catapults. Oh, and also their system has been disabled because otherwise they will suicidally charge the enemy.
I love the sheer variety of missiles that are here.
Yes, and then some more kneecappers on these LC Hermas.
It's not like they took one missile and put it on every ship. There really is a good variety.
Yes.
It'll make for a pretty light show.
Eleanor's fleet here, on the other hand, I absolutely adore because of the way she went about it. So here we have the Sovereign which is one of Yui's capitals. We've got Trident bombers and Alteria heavy rail guns, backed up with a lightning gun and the Otome cannon, which if it hits shields will overload the enemy ship for a few seconds.
Oh man.
And if
oh
it hits
man, I
hull,
don't
we'll
like
just
that
tear
effect.
it up.
I really dislike forced overloads, but you know, it's a capital ship. I guess it can have a special.
And
At least
the
it's
gun-
not. Yeah.
It does have like a 20-second refire delay.
Okay,
And-
that's reasonable.
I have to admit, it's not very. The ship AI isn't very good at using it. In any
I just
case.
remember the old days of EMP torpedoes from Ship and Weapon Pack when they applied flux directly to the enemy. So any ship could overload you at any time. Even if it hits the hull, you could overload. It was real bad.
Apparently,
real
all
bad.
of this is meant to sort of emulate the faction she's building,
Cool.
which I think is cool. We have a Nibelung with some Cryon Seekers, an Alteria, an Animus, and some Conans, and of course the Hammer Tubes. A Paragon with nothing here in the front, just lots of lightning guns and these Thrall Hammers. Even lightning guns back here.
You know, I've done some Paragon builds without guns on the front. It turns so slow that sometimes they're not worth it.
We've got some Chronoses with Corians, lightning guns, and Thrall Hammers. Some Furies with lightning guns and salamanders. A Foca with a Conan, dual flak, Guardian, and driver. And a Brawler with a couple drivers. And a Darnus with a couple Sternkanons. And I'll show you what he does in the fight because it's easier to show you.
Cool. Let's see. Rose Eleanor says in the chat, it doesn't represent my faction well, so...
It's still really cool, so be quiet.
Oh my goodness.
No,
Streamer bullying.
it's very electric, which I am a huge fan of. Like, the Strawhammer beams even have nice sparking effects.
Lightning JC with an immediate bet.
Yes. How dare you bet on the least lightning-y fleet out of the two of them? Lightning.
I have to say, missiles plus numbers is a pretty potent combination, so I'm gonna throw my hat onto Archangel here. I know you don't like the fleet, but normally it's the fleets we hate that are just like, ugh, I guess it's gonna win.
Yeah, no, I understand that. In the previous ring, only one person beat Pure Tilt, so I'm waiting to see who will be Ark's Breaker.
Gotcha. Is Arc undefeated so far?
So far, how many fights have they had? They've had 3, so they have 4 to go. Alright. I'm not comfortable betting this match. So there's the Darnus, right? Boop.
Nice.
Boop. I love that effect. He's so
I like
cute.
the little orange to black particles it spawns.
This poor Fury.
Oh wow, those missiles that went around the shield like that and had heavy damage around the shield, that's nasty. Yeah, those ones.
Considering
Yikes.
there are like a million missiles, I'm not going to be sure which ones you're talking about.
Well, they were small, they were blue, and they did a lot of damage. They were MIRVs of some sort.
If you mean the ones hitting the Nibelung now, those are the kneecappers.
Ah, well, they were very effective. They took out the Fury in record time.
They actually don't deal hardly any damage. They do a lot of EMP.
I must be thinking about something else then. Either way, the long-range missile firepower of this fleet is oppressive.
If you mean the bright blue Mervy ones, that's the Matsar system.
Ah, yes, those are the ones. Yeah, so I've seen a lot of this fleet be destroyed before it even entered gun range.
Yes,
Which is kind of what you'd expect from stacking very effective, very long-range missiles.
Yes. On the other hand, like, nothing of Ark's has guns to fire with, so if they get into gun range, they should have a relatively okay time of it if they can handle the missiles. Which,
Well, one of the ships up north has like 0 hull left.
yeah, it got in
just
front of the
barely
Paragon.
escaped.
it made the mistake of getting in front of one of the few ships that could withstand the initial strikes, although the Paragon is now out of flux.
Well, one of the downsides of missile fleets is that once they become desynchronized, they become a lot less dangerous. Although, I note that this fleet doesn't have massive point defense anyway, so I don't think it's going to help.
Yeah. The Paragon got taken out, and that was probably the best shot.
And you said there's a whole mod that's boosting these missiles' speed and range, right?
Yeah, speed and range at cost of maneuverability, but that isn't mattering too much.
Nope. That's, because I'm looking at these missiles flying across here, and they're going faster than most of these heavy projectiles.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting, because you have things like HVD rounds and, lightning guns. Well, I guess lightning guns are faster.
Lightning guns will always be faster, but yeah.
I think this is what this is showing me, is that hull mods need to be really careful. Or they're not. Or they can become really oppressive when they're stacked with each other. Like a hull mod that's okay in isolation suddenly combines with another one and you're done.
Yeah, for the second round, I'm probably going to... I don't want to change... I've been going back and forth myself about what to change balance-wise, right? I think what I might do is just ban certain hull mods from being in conjunction with each other and see if that's acceptable.
It's a really good question, because I feel like sometimes you get a hull mod that's just like so cool on its own, or like in its own mod where it's balanced. And then you combine it with another one and all of a sudden everything goes to crap.
I'm so sorry, Eleanor. Nobody bet on you. Not a soul.
Well, it's unfortunate, but that kind of oppressive missile spam is just so hard to beat.
Yep. I still really like Eleanor's fleet, though. Alright. Akitsushima versus Wasara.
My goodness, that was aggressive.
It's an aggressive name. Akitsu's fleet of Unbroken Excalibur. We have a victory! With, of course, the Klutokines, drivers, sword breakers, which are really good point defense if you don't know what they are. Aegis flags and Ifrit cannons. Very kinetic. But, I mean, it's got these, so it can get away with that.
A nice solid loadout. I like the harpoons on the back as finishers, even if you don't have anything boosting them.
Yeah. We've got some Trojans, which are sporting auto pulses, drivers, hurricanes, thunders, and Tawas, which are slow torpedoes that spit plasma cannon projectiles when they get close. We have Nia's new upscaled Sunder, the Skybreak, with drivers and 2 tachyons and some ion beams. These were really devastating because they have enough maneuverability to poke in and out of the fight and murder things.
Yeah, I mean, does this have a high energy focus?
Of course.
Like a Sunder? Of course it does. So, I mean, the burst from 2 tacks and high energy focus is... that's really nasty. I mean, that's a cruiser killer easily.
Yep.
So. But then again, it's a battle cruiser. That's what it's supposed to do.
We've got some Scalpers, which are sporting a Nixus, Needlers, and converted hanger with Talons, I assume for point defense.
Drown the enemy in talons.
We have the Bazaar Falcon, with a couple of drivers and sporting longbows. And the Haven, which has a single jackhammer heavy mech, which has sort of a pseudo Mjolnir as an armament.
Yeah, interesting.
Very cool stuff, I think. And then Wasara, his dried pitted plums. We have a Paragon. Tachyon on this side, heavy arc emitter on this side. It's sort of like an EMP emitter turned into a point defense. Heavy needlers and plasma lens projectors. These fire a slightly homing projectile that, should it hit, will cause explosions along the hull of the impacted ship. It's super cool to watch.
Yeah.
We have the Doberman, one of my favorite ships from ED. This one's using gunnery control AI, as well as weighted rounds, which means ballistics deal extra damage at the cost of projectile travel speed and range. But that's okay, because it's using Garda's hyperrail cannons. And on the modules, we have Mug Air rail guns for the kinetic.
Nice.
Anything that gets in front of this is going to die very quickly. The Doberman is from ED Shipyards. But yeah, I just love the combination of guns on this thing. And then, of course, there's the Grand Salvo cannons back here. We have a Tempest with a couple of ion beams. We have an Iris with railguns and a Paladin, because why not? A Peregrine, which has let's call it similar to higher energy focus, but for efficiency, with just ion beams and tacks. And the Lurker. The Lurker,
Oh, I've seen these.
yes, this thing teleports. It hurts itself in the process, but it just gets all over the place. This one comes with the Matsar system, heavy sword breakers, a breaker rotary, and Stahlhagel Zwillings, as well as some minor Chopo launchers up here. So, between the two, I like this fleet better just for the Dobermans, but I have to admit, I do like them both, ultimately.
Let the betting commence.
Yep. Here's the bet. Digger?
Oh my goodness, is your cat's name Tigger? That's so cute.
So I have a food storage container that has a threaded lid that you can close, right? And she's figured out how to open it.
Oh no.
It's a threaded lid. It screws on, and she's still figured out how to get it open.
Look, cats are smart when it comes to food. I know that my cats know at least 5 words, and they're all related to food.
There are scratches all over the lid. It's like, I'm proud of her, but at the same time, this is not helping. Well, it looks... Wasara has about 67% of the bets.
It's much more even than last time.
Well, yes, because neither of these fleets are, you know, doing something horribly abusive.
Neither are unholy monstrosities that must be put down for the good of all.
No. Akitsu has won their 1 fight so far. Wasara has lost their 2 fights so far. So...
Still a fairly small sample size.
Still a fair... I'd had but a yes, the thing you said. I really wish I could speak English more reliably.
I am looking forward to seeing those double tacks shoot. And I'm looking forward to seeing this, skipping along the hull weapon that you described.
I'll definitely try and keep an eye on it. This is the Matsar system, I think the one you were looking at.
Yeah. Ooh, wow, those are powerful.
It is a large
Ah. Yeah, wow.
That Lurker, however, should not have done that, but that's okay. It teleported over here.
I was gonna say it drew some hurricanes, didn't get hit by them.
Those
That's
poor
not
Tempests
bad.
are going to get murdered by the skybreaks.
Yeah. As long as it shoots them. Well, there's that Paragon coming up on the Skybreak. And the Skybreak is distracted. Oh, there's that double tack though.
Those red projectiles are the plasma lens projector. If they hit the hull, they'll do the thing I mentioned. Which they're going to because the Doberman is destroying the poor skybreak.
Yeah, that Skybreak is getting double teamed by a Paragon and a Doberman.
Watch for the impact.
Here we go!
Ah, you can see
so
it on the back
cool.
there. Very sparky,
Yeah.
very cool.
Now, is the Paragon going to get distracted? Yeah, so the Victory came up and saved the Skybreaker. But the Victory is now getting triple teamed.
Yep, because the Paragon has backup from 2 gun walls.
You know, the AI doesn't always do formations well, but that formation of the two Dobermans and the Paragon is kicking ass.
Yeah,
They're staying in formation, they're supporting each other.
I absolutely adore the Doberman. I just love gun wall ships. And if anything gets closer, it's going to use its system to pull out even more guns.
Excellent.
And I can't wait for that. The Trajan is a battle carrier. It shouldn't be getting close.
Well, you know, the sheer firepower of the Dobermans has just pushed back the main combat ships. I don't know that the South Side has any answer to those Dobermans.
Not as long as they're
potentially
next to help, no. A Doberman by itself you can flank. It's completely front-facing and very slow to turn around. Skybreak, what are you doing?
Skybreakers, it's being distracted by something behind it just for a moment, and that moment was enough.
Oh, it's the Lurker back behind their fleet.
So the Lurker just being there turned the Skybreaker, and that was it. Skybreaker down.
And a Trajan's down too, because the Lurker is still firing those Matsars, and that Trajan had no health left.
Those Matsars are very good missiles.
They are. They have a long refire delay, but they are an auto-loading missile.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
They might be a little too strong there for one of the little ship packs. I included quite a few little ship packs to give their authors some exposure, because they almost never get, like, any feedback.
Man, that lurker is doing so much work. Even when it's not... it fired its missile, then went into phase, then unphased flanking. You know, the phase AI is supposed to be even better next time.
What? The lurker teleported next to the Doberman and disabled all its guns. Okay, now you're being a little less impressive, sir.
Okay, I talked up the lurker a little bit too much. The lurker is also almost going to die.
Yes, it may not live.
Nope. There it goes. It really did its job, though.
It really did. The lurker
the Victory's dead.
The lurker's from Yui's low-tech armada, which has a lot of... It's an extremely, like, ramshackle pirate mod.
Well, I will say, it seems balanced, and the fact that it hurts itself when it teleports.
It hurts itself and friends. You noticed it disabled the Doberman's gun modules.
Right.
So it has to be careful.
So that Victory went down at some point off-screen.
Yeah.
While we were focused on the south. Well, this match is pretty much over.
This match is over. Congratulations to those of you who bet on Wasara.
Yeah, I think those Dobermans...
Oh, did lose a Peregrine though.
Go.
The Skybreak went after it.
Yep.
Skybreak wants to get something done.
The Skybreaks have great firepower. It's just they're glass cannons, which shows me that Nia got the design right.
Why did you use that gun on debris? Explain yourself?
There might have been survivors in there. Unacceptable.
The Haven up here has been killed by the gun wall at long last. It's just a Scalper and the Skybreak, I think. And those lens projectors might be the death of the Scalper. Ow!
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful.
Got to see the impact, though.
Yeah. You know, I have to say that the AI of the north side did so well, and normally I don't say that about the AI. Normally I'm nitpicking. But it just did perfect.
The plasma lens projector is high-tech expansion, by the way, from Bad Trek. Which, again, is similar to Yui's low-tech armada. Really cool stuff, just for high-tech instead of pirates. That's also where the kneecappers come from. I don't know, I like giving credit to who made the cool stuff I'm talking about.
Sure, that's a great policy.
The problem is, these three capitals are very slow, and the remaining ships are not slow.
We might be in for a bit of a stall here for a while.
Maybe? Certainly the Skybreak doesn't have to stay in front of those long enough to die, neither does the Scalper, technically. Hey, Sickness. That Scalper got redlined so fast, though. Oh!
There you go, and it's flanked by the Doberman.
Yeah, they pushed too hard. Ooh,
oh, gorgeous.
Lovely impact, lovely. There's the Skybreak done. Scalper's still alive.
Can it win? Overloaded. No allies.
I didn't see what overloaded it.
Redemption arc. I actually had no idea either. It's taken out one Doberman. It's taken out the Paragon. Wait. Oh, shotgun missiles.
Yeah, those are the Nixus. That's also Yui's work, low-tech armada. Alright, well, Wasara did lose his Lurkers, his Peregrines, and one Tempest, so 85 plus 8, that's what, 93?
Yeah, definitely not ashamed. Got almost a third of the fleet. Just under a third of the fleet killed.
Yep.
That's not too bad.
But ultimately a victory for Wasara, very good. Alright. Next we have Aki Sushima's fleet of Unbroken Excalibur against Ark's We Are Number 1. And by the way, the names of the ships are just take a guess. Goes all the way up to On This Banana Peel.
Oh goodness. Now, how do you think this match is going to go? I just don't think Akitsushi has enough point defense to deal with the missiles. I really don't.
I unfortunately think that I have to agree with that. Bet is up. I mean, here's the thing, right? Akitsushima, those 5 capitals are very strong. And it's not like they don't have point defense. I mean, if we look here, sword breakers are really good. And the rear-facing Aegis flags won't matter too much, probably. But sword breakers are good. The Trajan doesn't really have anything, it's his Vulcan cannons. And the Skybreak doesn't really have anything. There's a couple of light sword breakers, but that won't really help.
I'm worried mostly about the sword breakers, because they represent so much of the DPS of the fleet. And they are kind of glass cannons.
Yep. And there's some tactical lasers definitely throughout the fleet, but we don't have much in the way of heavy point defense. The heaviest it gets is here on the Victory. So what they're going to be relying on is, can they get in there and kill things before dying?
We'll see. It doesn't help that because the missiles are faster, the point defense that is there has less time to shoot them.
Yeah. Arc, naturally, has about 85% of the bet. Here we go.
I mean, best case scenario, those fighters draw out the missiles. Maybe the Wasps can lay down some proximity mine screens.
Here it comes.
Actually, the Wasps did lay down some proximity mine screens. Just not enough.
How many screens would you need for it to be enough?
A lot. So both of the Skybreakers were instantly overloaded and killed. Just instantly. It's rough to see, because these missiles are a lot more powerful than any vanilla missiles, that's for sure.
Yep. I mean,
And vanilla missiles already dominate.
A lot of very, very expensive missiles in terms of ordnance points, but that's why there's no guns anywhere on the fleet.
Yep. Well, this is kind of why when modders talk about how do you balance things, extremely high ordnance points is often not a good solution. And this is why. It's because if you can stack those overpowered weapons,
well, there's also the problem that missiles are just not super well balanced with the rest of the game in general.
That is true. Well, by default they're balanced by ammo, and the fact that in the campaign, the player is usually up against fleets that are larger than them.
Even if we suppose that, there are some missiles that are not balanced even by that standard. Sabos come to mind.
Yeah, Sabos are fairly problematic. That's true.
Sabos were banned for this tournament, by the way.
I would say that Sabos are not as bad as any of the missiles on the screen right now. But that is fair. I think it's good to ban things you know are broken, and then figure out, what else is going on.
I have some theories about what could be done with missiles and carriers and all sorts of things. I have some experiments I want to run after this tournament opens.
Yeah. Well, I think, the vanilla design space, in the vanilla design space, the Hurricane is the best long-range missile. That is the best long-range missile is the Hurricane. And compare what a Hurricane would be doing compared to these. And you just kind of, you can just kind of see that there's a different balanced philosophy going on.
So, Arc didn't lose, by the way.
Yes, Arc. I mean, let's be honest. The match was enough of a stomp. We didn't even comment on it. We just talked about missile balance, which is sad.
I actually do someday want to not even tournaments, to set up a council, a testing council, and experiment with things.
Wait, Carl, you're not on the testing council?
There's this tiny chance you're serious, in which case I'm going to be mad at you.
Sorry, I'm just trolling.
So now, to face off against Eleanor's lovely tech flotilla, we have the Decommissioned Nixus Nihilists, which is from NC Magic, by the way. With the Nothing Matters, Ergo I Decree What Matters fleet. We have here an Atlas Mark V with Gauss cannons, Nixus, Xiphos, long-range arbalists, and Nixus missiles. A Drover with, notably, the Falx Super Interceptor, which boasts a range of 8,000
You know, it's interesting to see a drover considering that they're currently kind of bugged. Their their AI for their whole mod is not good right now, so I'm curious to see how these are going to do.
Yep. And it's being followed by the Diadem Thunderbirds, which has a Seeker Flare launcher and some drones. We have a Doom, because of course we do. Nixus launchers and lightning guns.
Doom.
A Pirate Venture with more Nixus launchers and a heavy autocannon. A Kite with a couple of Nixuses.
Ah, missile kites, excellent.
Monitors with Nixai. Hermapees with Nixai. A Console with a Record Breaker EMP Cataphract. This is a frigate-sized carrier, but it has like a reduced engagement range thing. And even then it's still like 5 DP.
You know, I actually like that as a balance point, a reduced engagement range, because that forces it near the enemy that can then kill it.
Who is the co-host today? How dare you not know him?
Oh, actually, I have not been very active lately. Hello, everyone. I am Thago. I used to stream fairly actively, and I have not been lately, but yeah, I'm mostly a vanilla boy when it comes to Starsector, but I enjoy these tournaments a lot.
It's been Thago this whole time.
I'm actually also Laharl. I'm just extremely good at changing my voice.
I've been saying Thago this whole time. You nut. Okay, conquests. Aegis Flak on this side, and not much else. Hurricanes. A Particle Streamer, Mjolnir, Alteria, and Heavy Needler are all on this side. Very, very one-sided. And then, some Suleimans, which are boasting plasma cannons and double IR pulses, which I really like. Aurora, with a bunch of Nixus launchers and some Sturmkanons. And yes, that. Hello?
Hello. You know, that's kind of what I expected out of a fleet using missiles, is to pick one missile that they really liked and just jam it on everything.
Yes, and the Nixus is a pretty good missile. I don't think it's a broken missile necessarily, but it's one of the better auto-loading options that actually does damage, is the thing. As opposed to, say, a Salamander. Right, here is Bet. I will say that, like, compared to the other fleets that have gone for missiles, Candy's fleet here is the one fleet that didn't skimp on their guns at the same time, right?
Okay, so it's kind of a hybrid. Like, it's going for missiles, but it's not going 120% for missiles.
No, like, the Atlas Mark V is perfectly good fire support, the Auroras and Suleimans are pretty well equipped, and the Conquest is extremely well equipped. And there is a Doom.
Doom.
So definitely a hybrid fleet.
You should say the word Doom again.
Doom?
Doom.
Are you enjoying yourself?
I am enjoying myself. I just want to let everyone watching the stream know that commentating is the best.
Is the best what?
You should all try having to do any work. Laharl does all the work.
And I take all the responsibility. If anything goes wrong.
Howler 13 says, let's all sing the Doom song. Doom, 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 doom. And here we have these Nixus missiles.
Yep.
Shotgun blasting away.
They are really pretty, I think. Fury's having a hard time of it.
They are really pretty.
Love those straw
So
hammers.
many Nixus. I can see what you mean about a mixed gun and missile battery. They really are pressing at the same time that they're hammering down shields.
Yeah, like, their ships can't just be victimized while they're trying to shoot missiles. Unfortunately, poor Eleanor's fleet is kind of getting pushed into a ball because they are dealing with missile suppression.
Yeah, I
Sovereign
think
needs to kind of get up here.
those Nexus. It's kind of an issue where the AI does not deal particularly well with many minor threats. So it sees all these missiles and it's like, oh no, missiles, and it backs off, and that's exactly what the other fleet wants, is for you to back off and just keep eating it.
Ooh, fire the big cannon at the Conquest. Go on, come on. No, there you go.
You can do it. Ooh, it hit hull.
It did hit hull. That's the armor gone, as well as part of the hull.
That was a good shot.
It was. If somebody would help the Sovereign.
Very effective.
Nibelung, don't back off. Come here and help your friend.
It's Sovereigns. Yeah. See, it's really interesting to see this, because contrast to the fleet where the two Dobermen, where the AI was like perfect, forming a wall straight across, always focusing fire on the same target, versus this kind of like very hesitant, can't engage as one behavior.
Yeah. It's a bit sad to see.
I think the big gun just got stopped by a fighter.
That would be sad. What missiles those shotgun-type missiles are from? That's low-tech Armada. It is the Nixus launcher.
Yeah, Paragon's getting a little help there. That's good. It needs to vent.
Yep, it does. Well, while Candy definitely has the advantage and has taken out a Kronos, they've yet to secure another kill. They do still definitely have the advantage, and they haven't lost anything.
It's about to go down, though. Oh, firing off your gun into nowhere. Doom! Doom!
Sovereign charged at the Doom, I'm not sure why. Ow, ow,
Oh, and
ow.
then just a swarm of Nexus missiles just chipping away.
Yep. Fired your gun into the ether for no reason.
And, it's just not... You were right when you said that... the AI for the main gun is just not good. Oh,
the AI always has a little trouble with spinal weapons, I find.
Yeah.
This Aurora is bullying
I
the
think
Kronos.
part of it is the charge up.
Yeah, it is part
The
of it.
Aurora is very low health, though.
It is, but it's slowly winning against its much bigger brother.
Yeah.
The Kronos is a capital of time acceleration. It should not be losing to an Aurora.
I have never found Kronos to be particularly good. I know they were reworked recently, but they've always been slightly light on Kilitude.
Kilitude?
Kilitude. It's the testing council's official metric for how much killing power a ship has. Kilitude.
I am going to draft you into my world of spreadsheets. You keep that up. Not ashamed, the Paragon sniped a kite.
Excellent. The full power of this fully operational battle station. Oh man. Oh, and it's facing the wrong way now.
Come on, kill the Aurora. Sympathetic?
No.
Sympathetic.
Oh, the Aurora
Double kill.
is gonna live. Nice. Oh, a monitor went down somewhere.
Yeah, and a Herma. So a loss of, what, 10 points?
Nice. I think the monitor was even the death explosion of one of those ships caught it with its shields down. I suspect.
I don't blame you for being a bit upset, Eleanor. That was not amazing. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I have to say, Eleanor, that looks a lot like an AI failure rather than a ship design failure, because there's just so many times when you're like, come on, focus fire. So...
I think that it's part missile suppression, part this fleet is wider and was able to surround them quite quickly. It's wide and mobile.
Number of ships does play a big role, even if they're just frigates.
Yep. The next one we have is Idiopathic. You've seen what these guys do.
Yep.
Versus Mad Badgers. I'm not unarmed. I have rocks.
Hooray for rocks!
So we have Chihuahuas again, right? with hypervelocity drivers. Bunch of those. We have the monitor with the HK-101, which does nothing. It's a long-range fragmentation. It's just meant to be a long-range thing for range finding, right?
Okay.
And the Seth drone, have you seen these?
No, I have not.
The Seth drone, it spits out a tiny drone that just very, very slowly just sort of shunts its way across the battlefield. If it gets close to something, it bursts and spits a few kinetic projectiles at them. Not very strong projectiles either, but you'll notice the refire delay is only 4.
Okay, yeah. So it just kind of goes pa-poo, pa-poo, pa-poo.
Yep.
Over and over again.
We have a wolf with
And they're using a lot of them.
Seth drones, mining lasers, and a Pastella blaster.
Ooh, mining lasers, worse than having nothing.
How dare you. The backpack with a Seth drone and a single gallant railgun. It has a couple of strap drones which are they have sword breakers. This is point defense. The metal head. What does this look like to you?
Why, it looks like an elegant ship. There's nothing that could possibly have been derived from this. It's obviously its own completely original work.
Right. More Sith drones and some MAGA-era twin-linked railguns. The Prospector, a gallant railgun and more Seth, and more mining.
Nice, nice. Well, yeah, but on this ship, the mining lasers are, like, on theme.
Yes.
And, like, they're built in for free, right?
Most of them. The Atlas Mark 14 with 2 big Steerix drivers, some arbalests, and the Fisher LRM, which is a sort of kinetic MIRV thing.
Nice. Definitely not a pirate ship, this. Absolutely not.
The Pathfinder, which is boasting some Vulcan standard cataphracts, another Steerix driver, long-range arbalest, bunch of mining weapons, the usual shindig. System has been disabled, though, because it's reserve deployment and builds up intense amounts of flux.
Mm-hmm.
The Adventurer, with a bunch of Seth drones, long-range arbalests, and another Steerix driver, and a Fisher LRM back here. Also the
really
Surface Fighter, which is neat.
I really want to try Seth drones on Diable ships. Diables have tons of these little missile mounts all over the place.
I know. And the micromissiles, I love micromissiles, but they're just not amazing if they're not in those arrays you get on the Maelstrom.
If the micromissiles aren't built in, they're very overpriced. They should be like 1 OP. They're like 8.
Actually, they're like 3 now.
Oh, it got changed. Okay. 3's not too bad.
It's not. They're still a bit weak, but yeah. Anyway, drivers, Fisher LRM, and Seth drones on this Starliner. And then some Bitzers with just the HK-101. These are just here for nav relay and ECM package, right?
Sure, you gotta get those bonuses up.
Now, what have you noticed about this fleet?
Well, I have noticed that there are a couple Seth drones.
Did you notice I never once named an HE weapon?
I did not notice that. That's gonna be... Huh.
Badger's strategy is, if I throw enough kinetics at them, it doesn't matter.
You know, that might work for some fleets, but if you run up against those whole regenning... my brain just died. The ones from the very first fight that suck ships towards them and regenerate their hull, the capitals.
Right.
Those things. Yeah, I don't see how this top fleet could ever beat even one of those things.
Would you like to know what his win-loss record is so far?
Oh god, am I going to be completely wrong?
He's had
What's
2
his win-loss
fights,
record?
both wins.
Oh my goodness. This is why you shouldn't trust me, stream.
Against
I don't know
Wasara,
what I'm
who had
talking
those
about.
Dobermans that you remember.
Okay.
And Eleanor, with the Tuck Flotilla.
Okay. So I don't sound too dumb because it hasn't gone up against the ship that I was saying it could never beat.
No, that's what it'll be doing now.
Oh no.
And
Well, folks, you have my prediction on the million burgers.
Now, I think that this fleet is capable of very quickly murdering, say, the irises and the monitors which rely on their shields.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly also the Shibas and the Chihuahuas. And I think there's so much damage that this Apathsud could get torn apart too. The question is what the Leon Burgers will do.
I mean, how much armor does the duct tape backwards have?
Only 1280, actually.
Well, okay, that's a lot, but not as much as I was expecting. I mean, it is a lot versus kinetic weapons, but...
I mean, it has more on the front modules, 220 and 240, respectively.
Okay.
And the side modules have 1800, but this core thing here only has 12.
Okay. It'll be interesting to see what the impact of the kinetics have on that armor, because like it is going to take a lot of kinetics to get through 2500 armor.
Yep. Everything here is perfectly vulnerable, except those Leon Burgers. They have damper field and an intense amount of armor.
To me, it's the armor plus the hull regen. It's just like, I don't know if kinetic can get the DPS needed to overcome hull regen. Because all that kinetic is going to be reduced to probably minimum damage, maybe the HVDs have a big enough shot size.
Well, you have to remember that I believe bobulated Herald armor was in use, which increases vulnerability to kinetic damage.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's see then.
Now, that still may not be enough. We'll see. Like, this Leon Burger is in the middle of their fleet and hasn't had its armor broken yet. Both of them are, in fact. Oof.
Oh, it's so pretty. But also, I wonder if they're just going to run around killing things this whole time and nothing's ever going to touch them. Oh, you know, the death explosion did take out its frontal armor there. So maybe it will simply... You know, it's like if you're facing an enemy with a rocket launcher. You just throw your body at the tube, and eventually someone's will clog it up, right? Oh my god. Bonk.
The Leon Burgers are doing the best thing they could do right now, which is drawing all the fire. Which kind of hard for them not to draw all the fire, considering. There are some shots being aimed at the rest of the fleet, but...
Oh, is it? Oh, they did not get his shield up in time at all.
Nope.
He just ate that missile.
Fortunately, not too much damage to it this time. I love how the sky is just filled with Seth drones. It's adorable. Leon Burger cornered a Prospector over there.
Yeah, they're everywhere. Oh, it's
I like how there's a tight group of monitors and irises just
super capital
behind the Dreadnought here.
But they're doing work. They're shooting stuff down.
Yep.
And the Dreadnought is not even particularly stressed at the moment.
No.
Like, it has a couple ships firing at it. And the Leon Burger is still practically full hull. The entire... You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ships firing on it. And they're doing a little bit of damage.
That poor wolf.
I think it finally got killed by a ram from its ally by accident.
No, what happened is the Leon Burger, that magnetic system kicked it into its ally.
Oh, jeez. I think these Leon Burgers are invulnerable to this fleet. I think these 2 Leon Burgers could probably take the whole fleet out by itself. Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, it does look like that's more or less what's happening. This Leon Burger, the Herald armor regeneration doesn't regenerate all the armor. It has a very harsh limit, but it's not going to be harsh enough.
But it's regenerating hull, right?
2 separate hull mods there, but yes. And the hull regenerating one has a limit as well, but still.
Oh, okay, it does have a limit, so in theory the kinetic could eventually take it out. But it also has a damper field on top, right?
Yeah. The Apacid is finally taking damage now that something's focusing on it, but there's still a...
Oh my god, then the Leon Burger just comes in and rams that ship, completely knocks it off course, flanks the other one.
Sheba kills itself
Sheba
against
down.
its friend. Fascinating.
Is that going to be the reason why, not shame? I don't know. I haven't... We've been watching a lot of the other ships, so there might have been some other kills in the meantime.
That's true.
You know, this cloud of frigates behind the Dreadnought, I think have actually been doing really good work. Because it would be vulnerable in the rear to these flankers.
Oh, it absolutely would be. Not a good thing having a vulnerable rear. You know, this adventurer over here has yet to die to the Leon Burger. Which itself is also not dying.
The Leon Burger...
They're both distracted with each other's distraction
Yeah,
frigates.
it's actually... The Leon Burger actually has more hit points and armor than when we last looked at it.
Yep.
Yep. Well, these things happen. It's kind of a stalemate for now, although we kind of know how it's going to end.
Most likely, yes.
Oh, these monitors. The monitors are doing good work.
They are. You're gonna kill that iris. Possibly, possibly not. Probably not. You are getting shot at by the dreadnought. Ouch.
I have to say, this fight is lasting longer than I expected. Ooh, Reaper.
That's because most of Idiopathic's fleet doesn't have guns. They're just supposed to not die. The second round, I think, will be interesting because there were a lot of really neat fleet strategies, and after I deal with some of the rules oversights, I'd like to think I'll see some more of those. So this adventurer is still alive. The Leon Burger, I guess, went somewhere else. Oh, there they are. The Dreadnought is distracted with a single monitor, so that's fun.
Chihuahua went down. Not the Chihuahuas.
Poor Chihuahuas. Ramming maneuver, that's a lot of extra damage. If you'll notice though, the Adventurer is also regaining hull. It has an auto-struct as well. That's timeout though.
We've reached timeout. Alright. Yeah, both these fleets are kind of designed for endurance strategies, just two different endurance strategies. So it's not too surprising that we've reached timeout.
Yeah, I can see what you mean. This poor adventurer is surrounded by distraction frigates.
I would say it'll go down eventually, except I think its hull is almost back up to full.
Almost. I don't think... Is it regenerating past its current amount?
Yeah, it's still going back up.
Well, it'll start going down again here in just a moment. There, see?
Oh, that missile. That's a good hit. You just needed another unkillable ram ship to do it.
Oh, here comes the rams. There we go. Oh, there's still a monitor
It's very
left.
pretty. Will it prevail?
You can do it, monitor.
We believe in you? Question mark? Although I note that it doesn't have extended shields, so something is going to get up its rear eventually. Or it could get clipped through the ship by the frame rate.
Or it could get eaten, basically.
Yeah,
All
that
right,
was
well,
interesting.
a Shiba and 2 Chihuahuas were lost, so 14 points lost on Idio's side, but
Yep.
not much of a loss, really.
The chat is talking about, like, which mod is that has that hull mod? Unusually gullible hull mods.
Yeah,
What an
it's
interesting
Protonus
name.
work. The problem, not only should I not have used something that Protonus had only just released, Protonus disappeared. And I was unable to talk to him about balance for it and fixing it up in a few ways, but it was also like too late to tell everybody get rid of it, redesign something else.
Gotcha.
Anyway. Now we have Candy versus Wasara.
Okay, let's see how those walls do.
You remember,
Those
this is the
Dobermans.
hybrid fleet versus the I love Dobermans and the one lurker.
Yeah, ship count's a little low on Wasara's fleet, so we'll see how those heavies do against being swarmed.
That's a good point. Because
Yeah, I'm not
Candy,
sure. I'm not sure who I favor for this one.
Candy is definitely wider, but the thing is, since he is a hybrid missile fleet, he does have to get in there with his guns, and the Dobermans are absolutely going to outrange him.
Right, so there's gonna be a window of vulnerability there where they might get really chewed up. We'll see.
And there is nothing on Candy's side that can survive a barrage from either the Dobermans or the Paragon.
Yeah.
And then there's the question of what the Lurker will do.
Oh, the Lurker. Well, that's the wild card, right?
That is essentially a wild card. There was a fleet that used 2 of those, and it was always fun to see what they were doing.
I mean, I could see a best case scenario. The Lurker slams out front, all the Nixus go after it, and then it teleports away, and like the entire opening Nixus barrage is wasted. That would be the ideal case. I'm not saying that'll happen, but that would be good.
Alrighty. The bets are
And
actually
you know
like 50-50.
I'm not surprised. These are both solid fleets.
There's the Lurker.
And it's a Lurker versus a Doom.
Spit the missiles and phase away.
It's a pretty good plan. Oh!
Stings
Wow.
the Atlas a little bit. Atlas
You know, what are those missiles that the Lurker has?
Matsar system.
I feel like I've seen other ships get caught by the Matsar and just not raise their shields in time.
You have. They come on a bit quickly during their terminal stage. This poor Peregrine is getting immediately beaten up by a Suleiman and an Aurora. That Peregrine's... yeah, that one's not gonna
Peregrine
survive.
is not going to make it. Oh, they're compressing. They need open fire lines for the Dobermans.
Yeah, the Dobermans need to be able to swim up next to the Paragon. Lurker
And,
took a bunch of damage just now, too. It's trying to
the Lurker-
teleport
Yeah,
and went behind itself.
The Lurker last time was getting behind the enemy and disrupting. I feel like that's what they need to do. And
This time it's
kind of
kinda-
trying to frontal assault.
This time it's kind of staying with its friends and being nervous, the poor thing.
Okay, now Doberman can focus on an Aurora.
Yeah, its
That-
gun modules are still trying to shoot the monitor, though.
Oh, come on. Oh,
The
man.
Aurora is forcing the issue,
No, shoot at me! Shoot at me!
which is a mistake.
Oh, it's about to get...
Ow.
Yeah, there it goes. Nice tack lance hit. It is fast enough to get away with only moderate damage, luckily.
This time. If the
This
Doberman
time.
had been even a little more focused.
Monitors are just... The AI has this, like, routine built in to focus on frigates. Because it's like, oh, I can get a quick kill. No. 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 You know, the Paragon really needs to get behind... Or not behind, but to the side of the Dobermans.
It needs somebody next to it to help take some of the punishment. It needs to vent. Oh, those are Doom mines. Okay, it didn't take
You
too much
know-
damage from that, but the Conquest is here.
Okay, Doberman's firing on the Conquest. Oh no, but the other ship's getting in the way.
Peregrine!
Mm.
Get out of the way! At least block for the Paragon if you're gonna sit there.
Wow,
Okay.
that Peregrine was just... That Peregrine probably saved the Conquest.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, it's better off dead. Which is not a good thing to say about a ship, that it's better off dead than in your fleet.
This Aurora came back, and I don't know why it stopped and took several shots from the Doberman, but there you go.
Well, the Dobermans just need to stop firing at the monitors. I mean, isn't that always the case? Just stop firing at the monitors?
And the Paragon's
And
dead.
Paragon's down. Yeah, you know, last time this fleet had perfect AI, this time it had horrible AI.
Having said that, they still have to take out the Doberman somehow, which isn't the easiest thing in the world.
That's true. Finally, no one is in the Doberman's way.
That's because there's not much left other than Dobermans.
Right. So the Aurora's backing off, that's good. Oh, the Conquest, I mean, the Conquest.
The Dobermans are still
The
outputting a
EMP
lot of damage, but they are getting surrounded.
I think that Conquest is going to go down. It
The
just
Doberman
needs
focus is just a little longer, yes.
just 10 more seconds. 10 more seconds of fire. And that Conquest is down.
Overloaded. Down.
There it goes. Alright, so the Conquest is down.
A single Iris helped the Doberman distract a little longer. The Aurora
That
got caught in the
Aurora's
Grand
down.
Salvo cannons. That is an immediate death.
That's interesting. Dobermans were very... No, don't turn! What are you doing?
Oh no, no, no. Turn around!
Oh. The Doberman had it, and then did it get pushed?
I
Or
don't
did
think
it
so. I
turn?
think it just turned.
So, yeah, the AI commits suicide, unfortunately, again.
Some of the Doberman's friends just exploded against its back for unknown reasons.
I mean, that Aurora is going to go down. I'm pretty sure. Ooh, what the hell killed the Doberman?
It had been taking too much damage from the back
okay.
this whole time. So which means this one's going to die here shortly too.
Yep. You know, I think this fleet could have won if its AI hadn't derped so hard.
Well, the thing is that it's up against a fleet that's not only wider, but much faster. The Suleiman and Aurora both have mobility systems.
Right. It's, you know, the Paragon and the Dobermans did their job, the escorts did not. All those escorts just got in the way. They didn't, last time they did a really good job, but this time they really didn't.
Let's see. An Aurora and a Conquest lost 70, 75, 81, 80, 91? 91, I think. I didn't actually expect that result. I very much thought Wasara was going to win again, I have to admit.
I think they had a chance. I think they had a good chance. Yeah, that was unfortunate. Like, all those times when the Paragon was slightly out forward and the Dobermans just couldn't fire.
Yeah, definitely hurts. Alright, well, this time, it's Akitsushima versus Eleanor.
Okay, let's see how it is.
Now, the interesting thing here, like, the Scalpers, the Bazaar Valkans, the Bane, none of these are exactly tough. These are mostly support. So it's mostly 5 capitals versus 5 capitals, but I think that Eleanor's side has a little more strength in terms of their support. Like, Eleanor went for offensive support, whereas Akitsu went for defensive support, in my opinion.
Well, Furies are really good ships. I mean,
They are.
they're getting a 5 DP boost in the next batch? Something like that?
Are they? Wow.
Yeah, they're... Alex was like, whoops, lol. I mean, he didn't actually say those words, because he would never say whoops, lol. But the intent
He should have after
was
095.
there.
Frickin' story points.
I love story points. You and I disagree on story points, and we've talked about this before. I think story points are great.
We did come to sort of an agreement on some of, like, how they're used isn't amazing. I don't know. I remember we found some things we agreed on at least.
We found some common ground. I think certainly there are ways that it's implemented that could be better.
I think it could be implemented into a trash can.
I think it solves a number of design problems that you know what? We're on stream. People are waiting. People want things to blow up.
I did enjoy the conversation with you. It was interesting, though.
You know, we could have a podcast where we put on smoking jackets and have, like, pipes filled with bubbles, and we talk about balance points. I'm just saying. There must be a market.
If you're even slightly serious about that, I might actually be interested.
Think about it. Think about it. I don't know where I get a pipe full of bubbles.
I don't know either. But, like, I am actively working on... I wasn't joking about lots of spreadsheets. I am actively working on trying to come up with an objective balance reference and some overhaul mods.
Okay, I'm just going to give you a warning. The last person who tried to do that, it did not go well, but I have more faith in you than I had in them.
Yeah, I've heard like some vague references, but no actual stories. I might have to ask later.
Well, there's kind of this tradition in the Starsector community not to badmouth each other. So...
There is? I hadn't noticed. You could have fooled me. Right. Back to explosions.
Okay. Hey, there's a fight going on. Okay, so I think these Skybreakers might tip the balance. I think that Alpha Strike from the double tack lance, we'll see.
It's certainly not
It's a
going to help if this
good
theory
Alpha
tries
Strike.
to engage the fleet by itself.
I think luckily it's backing off.
Yes.
That's a good shield.
Alright. So it's
You
a
know,
question
Kronos
of
with
who
the-
redlines first. And the Skybreaks, I noticed in previous fights, redlined themselves very fast because, you know, 2 tachyons.
Yeah, I think they really are glass cannons. And, you know, the Kronos with their time acceleration, they're going to be able to dissipate the soft flux from the tachyons very well.
Both
Ooh,
Skybreaks
yes.
are already taking damage. Because they... Ow, that one overloaded.
Woof. Uh-oh. Let's see, is there missiles? Yeah, there's some missiles coming in. Oh, and a
Ow.
big HE round.
Ow!
Yeah, that Skybreak is very dead. We'll see if it does anything
I did not
before it gets
expect the
overloaded
Skybreak
again.
to take that much damage so quickly.
There
Ooh,
was
it just
a lot of
barely
fun.
guarded against that. Nope, there it goes. There it
Nope. Oh. Sorry, for a second I thought I had taken out...
Yeah, I
the
thought
other
so
ship
too.
in a
I
death
thought so too.
explosion.
Alright, 2 Trojans over here, bullying the Kronos and Afoka. Paragon versus Victory. The other Skybreak is
Ooh.
back there. The Sovereign
There's
should
no
get
road
in
for a
here,
second.
as should the Nibelung. Neither of you can afford to take a break in this fight. Get up here, you idiots.
They are slow.
Yes, but I watched the Nibelung was up here a minute ago.
So
Uh-oh.
Paragon versus Victory.
Oh!
Ooh.
Overloaded
Perfect
just in
timing.
time for the Trident bombers.
Wow. Well, I guess every once in a while the AI gets it right. That was a good hit. Victory is taking some damage over there. It can't take 3 capitals at once.
No, no. Super Sunder, Skybreak is coming.
Oh,
Oh!
wow, you know, when
Hey,
that gun
Sovereign,
works,
you've got a better aim this time.
you know, it's just, it shows the power of distraction frigates. The last time's performance versus this time's performance.
Yeah, it really does. Hey, Eleanor, are you more pleased with the Sovereign this time?
Yeah, how you feeling, Eleanor? So far, so good.
Did you catch the cannon's name? The Otome.
Heh, nice.
Yeah. Paragon and Victory are kind of in the same place flux-wise. Neither of them is really going to break the other, I don't think.
Right, they're just kind of, they're holding their positions. They're
One
both
of
kind
them
of
will need help
standoff
from a friend.
combatants. Yeah. Oh, okay, so that was a wasted shot, but that happens.
Yep, Foka kills the Scalper. Victory
Kronos
is
is
losing the
coming in.
Flux War, slowly, but it's also out of range now.
The Victory is going to get a chance to vent, I think. I think the Paragon will too. Although it's got some distractions around it. That Skybreaker is not going to be able to stand up on the front line like that.
Yeah, the Skybreak needs to be very careful. It saw what happened to its friend. This Darnus, I have yet to see this Darnus actually get in there and shoot something. It just flicks around next to the capitals.
Might be enough if something is like, ooh, a frigate, I'll go shoot it.
The Skybreak did shoot at it at one point and just teleported out of the way.
You know, this wall of capital ships just keeps grinding down south, and I think they're going to win. I think they're just going to keep pushing it back and chipping away.
Yeah, we are getting closer to the bottom of the map. I hadn't noticed that. I think you might be right.
Oh, there's some counterfire on the right side of the map, though.
On the Foka, the Kronos has an opinion about that.
Yeah, don't bully my escort.
Having said that, the Trojan is not weakly armed, even though it's a battle carrier, so the Kronos has to be careful.
Yeah. Victory is taking some hits. I don't think there's going to be a heavy barrage to capitalize, but it's going to get chipped away a little bit. Why does that ship keep backing up?
The music is Hollow Knight, Mordia. I was going to
What's
turn
the
on
name of
something
that?
more relaxing, but it's a hide.
I have no memory. Ooh, another of those big spinal cannon shots.
Yep, and that one worked because it has a slow unfold and it was on the side. Sorry, what were you trying to say?
What's the name of that, the ship with the big spinal cannon? I have just forgotten.
Sovereign.
Sovereign. The Sovereign keeps backing up. It's very strange.
Yeah, the Sovereign I think is a bit too hasty with using its system to back up. It can use that system to go forward or back. And I'm not sure what the AI tells it about doing that, but it does seem to go back more often than it should. Aw, Foka lost. The Kronos couldn't save him.
No. Do you think Kronos are...
Oop, this
Actually-
Kronos is trying to victimize the Trojan, but it's in front of the Skybreak. That's bad.
Yeah,
Nibelung's coming in, though.
Oh, that Skybreak is high flux. High flux and low hull.
And the Nibelung has a massive HE cannon. Oh, the Skybreak just barely shields against it.
Just barely. I think the Nibelung might try to press its advantage.
It might. There is a Trajan here, though.
Yeah. Well, the Sovereign needs to stop backing up, and if it does that, it'll be okay.
The duel over here is very equal.
Yeah. See, Paragon and Victory are still going at it, just slowly, slowly.
Yep, neither has made any headway.
Let's see what the Sovereign does. I feel like the Sovereign's a real wild card. Like, if it just charged,
Nibelung
I
and
think that would be
Kronos
it.
moving to victimize
Ooh,
the
Spinal
Trajan.
Cannon shot hit the Victory.
Oh my. I'll have to pay attention. I'm interested what's happening over here, though. This is a very sharp battle. There could be a very quick loss on either side here, depending on who does what.
Right, there's so much burst damage at play.
And the thing is, none of these four ships, like the Trajan has lost a bunch of hull, the Skybreak is nearly dead. The Kronos is kind of delicate to begin with, and I don't actually know about the Nibelung. Oh. Aw.
Out of range. Oh,
I don't
there's
know
a
why
kill.
the enemy Haven was all the way over there, but there you go. And that's
Oh,
Scalper's
just fire one more shot. Fire one more shot. Aw, come on. You're not going to finish that off? Well,
It tried.
It tried. Ooh, Sovereign's going forward.
Yep. Anything happening
Duel
here?
over
No?
here.
Okay.
They
They're
look
both-
completely evenly matched.
Yeah, they're slowly taking out each other's hull, but
Oh, look at that Sovereign. It has Reckless AI now.
yep. Another successful hit. Kronos is trying to victimize Trajan. Reckless AI for everyone. Sovereign is having some trouble.
I mean, it shields in the wrong spot. Always trust the AI to shield in the wrong spot. But there goes the Skybreaker.
We have two separate Kronos versus Trajan battles, both of which are bad for both sides. Victory
Oh,
is now, however, alone.
Oh, and there's those tridents. Yeah, the Victory has done a good job holding off the Paragon. You could also say the Paragon's done a good job holding off the Victory. But that battle is now over.
Oh, the Sovereign was apparently given cautious for some reason.
Oh! That's why I kept backing up.
That's an
Okay.
interesting choice. Was that intentional, Eleanor? I assume not, because you seem frustrated. Yeah, on both these sides, the Kronos and the Trajan are in roughly equal health. Oh, never mind, that Trajan managed to win against the Kronos.
Oh, surprising. I have noticed that the Cronoses seem a little underpowered. Like, I guess they are up against another capital ship.
Well, the thing is,
So-
time acceleration is a really strong system.
Yeah, so I'm a bit surprised. I think these Trajans?
The Trajan is a lot more solid, so it looks like they are slowly winning their fights. This Kronos might go down too. Losing both
Yeah, I
Kronos is a lot of BP lost.
Yeah, I think the Trojans are just better ships than the Kronos, and the Kronos just can't win a duel. Although if that Kronos runs away fast enough, it won't die.
That's true, but everyone else on Reckless AI.
Tell that to that ship. Look at it go!
But this Trajan is now going to be distracted by the Fury.
There you go. Ooh, bombers. Let's see.
I love Atropos torpedoes. So beautiful.
Kronos is back. Oh, that Fury is.
Yeah, and the Kronos is strong enough to rip apart something that isn't looking at it.
There we go. So the Fury sacrificed itself to save the Kronos, which is actually a good DP trade.
It is. Whew!
There you go.
That was a fun fight to watch. I liked that.
That was a really good fight.
65.
That Sovereign had a couple beautiful shots with its central cannon.
86. Oh, that was fun to watch.
It's a good fight.
I almost wish I could like pull up previous streams with you here to commentate on some things, because we had some really hype fights in the first ring as well. It's the reason I do this. Anyway, Badger versus Aki Sushima. So again, all kinetics versus the one we just saw with the skybreaks and all that, right? So do you have a theory for this one?
I think I have to. It's a good question. I think I'm going to go with Akitsushima. Akitsushima. Akitsushima.
Really? Why is that?
I think the Skybreakers are going to do very well in this fight versus these smaller ships. I think they're going to have a hard time dealing with the dual tack lance.
Really?
That's my guess. We'll see. We'll see.
Hi, dear. Thank you. Miss Laharl is the derpy dragon.
Hello, Derpy Dragon. Also, that knit lobster, amazing.
Thank you. My bet is actually the opposite. I think the Skybreakers are going to die really quickly.
I guess we'll see.
To me, it seems like they're kind of delicate in terms of hull and armor, and I think they're outranged.
Okay. Well, let's see who wins. The Rocks or the fleet of unbroken Excalibur?
I could be wrong about that, though. But so could you. Aha, let's see. The other thing is Badger's fleet is very wide. They can easily surround
it is
Akitsushima.
so wide.
Badger has
I
the
forgot how
widest
wide
fleet
it
this
was.
tournament, actually, at 34 ships.
And it has those self-replicating Mirage ones.
Yep. Which are great distractions in most scenarios.
Let's see, I think best case scenario for Akitsushima is that the Skybreakers get a little afraid and back off and wait for the rest of the fleet to catch up.
One Chihuahua dead.
One Chihuahua dead. So you don't... that's really far forward. You're going to want to back up and get next to your victory, friend.
And the Trojans.
Yeah. Where are the Trojans?
The Skybreak is already kind of struggling for flux.
It needs to... Oh, you're strafing the wrong direction. Let the victory cover you.
Take
Just
some
back
damage
up.
from a Fisher. And from a Styrex.
It's backing up in the wrong direction. Back up to the right, not to the left.
Serious damage.
Ah, that's disappointing. It's firing at a monitor. Alright. Alright,
And
Skybreaker. Skybreaker, you just got the most useless award.
That Skybreaker was just barely killed.
It went in the wrong direction. It could have very easily taken no damage if it had just, like, not derped. Alright, let's see how this victory does. Because the victory has decent point defense.
Yeah, it's already at about half flux. Because there's so much kinetic damage coming in all over the place.
Right.
This Trojan is already starting to take serious damage.
You know, I think I was wrong.
Anything that relies on shields is going to have a hard time with a fleet that is all long-range kinetics. Especially if they don't have heavy armor. The Victory's got decent armor, but I don't think enough.
You know, I think it's the combination of the kinetics, but also all these little drones, they just mess up the enemy AI.
And since Badger's fleet is so wide, they're surrounded. They're constantly getting hit on the sides.
Right.
And they find it difficult to focus on targets because the fleet keeps moving around and changing targets because they're all small little targets.
Man, meanwhile, on the upper left, there's a Skybreaker just being useless.
At a monitor, yes.
And a monitor. The monitor has 0 hard flux. I don't know if it has it. Does it have extra hull mods that let it dissipate hard flux faster?
No. I don't think it does.
Oh, just the
No,
Skybreaker just has...
it must have hard flux dissipation. I'm seeing it do that.
This is why hard flux dissipation is like a special skill. Ah, well. So that monitor is successfully holding off a capital. It's actually successfully bullying a capital. Oh yeah, this might be a shame. No, Chihuahua went down. It won't be a shame.
Yeah, Chihuahua went down. But yeah, this fleet is A, surrounded, B, relying on shields, C, not a very fast fleet, except for the Skybreaks, which are the most delicate and constantly redline flux, which is bad for them in this scenario. And there's just too many targets.
Yeah, that is unfortunate.
Look at this poor Victory. It's surrounded now, almost.
Yeah, well, it looks like a proper reckless AI also on the south side. Well, maybe not reckless, but certainly aggressive at the very least. Just a full press, full surround. Capitals can't get any range.
Yep, we're up
Distraction
against the
frigates.
top of the map, actually.
Yep. That is a rough loss.
Who needs high explosive?
Apparently not this fleet.
Wasara Falcon down. Oh, please be a multi-kill when the victory explodes.
Well, that would be nice. Yes. The victory killed 5 other ships.
6! That was a 6-part multi-kill.
Nice.
Oh, that's satisfying. 2 Chihuahuas and 1 Bitzer down, 5 DP lost in total.
Excellent. I am gonna get myself a little drink, but I'll be right back.
Alright. I will wait. Woo-hoo-hoo. Hey Badger, you beat Skybreaker's call. Oh, that's fun. Give Natalie credit for the joke. She said it in chat earlier. Gee. Well, Then again, we do have Thrallhammers. I don't know what I feel about this one. Badger's HE damages their enemies' own ships. Distribute some lobsters before I start the bet. The bet's not up yet, hold on.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, hello, hello. So, Idiopathic's Immortal Fleet versus Eleanor's Tech Flotilla.
Okay. See what happens.
Eleanor does have a fair amount of HE. Very bursty HE with that Autome cannon and the Thrallhammers.
I think it all depends on whether or not the Leonbergers are effective. If they kind of derp out, then I think Eleanor has a good chance. But if they do their usual hyper murder, dodge the big ships prey on the small, that might be rough.
Also, somebody made the joke, Badger's HE damage is the enemy ships exploding.
Oof. Accurate.
I want Eleanor's fleet to win. I just really like it that Idiopathic has 100% of the votes. Okay.
Damn. Ooh,
Ouch.
Otters hold hands, clip to the multi-kill. Cool.
Thank you, Otters. Have you met Otters? Otters is really nice.
I'm not sure I have met Otters. Hello, Otters.
Otters is a lovely boy. He's a Rimworld modder. I've worked with him for like testing stuff out.
Cool.
He's the one who
Howler's
made the...
betting on Eleanor.
Oh, are you, Howler? Brave of you. Eleanor has about 30% of the vote now.
Okay, alright. To me, it's all in the Leonbergers.
Yeah, every other part of Idiopathic's fleet, I think, can easily get mutilated by Eleanor's strategy. It's a matter of how well the Leonbergers do.
Oh, and monitors, Rose. Eleanor points out. The enemy has monitors.
That is true.
Oh, here they come. Got some HE damage coming in, though.
Pulling the Foca.
Oh, God, just so rough. How did the Leonbergers handle EMP?
I don't know. There's certainly going to be plenty of it coming from those lightning guns.
Yeah.
Fire the Otome! Come on! They don't have shields, it'll be all damage.
I think its fire line is just getting blocked.
By the
Yeah,
Foca,
there you
yeah.
go.
The Foca's dead now, though.
It's not pointing at either of the enemies.
Oh, the Nibbling's getting victimized by the Dreadnought.
Oh, yeah, I think...
They only dodged that Reaper, but not the rest.
Nibblings are just immortal. They really... I know you said in a previous stream you've seen them get killed. But, I think the missile spam could take them out.
It's possible. I don't know if that fight's happened yet.
Yeah. But they are, the Leonbergers are a hard counter to this fleet, unfortunately.
I don't know if I'd call them a hard counter to this fleet. This fleet at least had some high explosive that could have done something.
Yeah, I mean, that Leonberger on the right has taken some hull damage. Being unshielded and ramming enemy capitals, it's taken some hull damage.
That poor Sovereign. It's being
Like,
yanked
literally,
around.
that Leonberger was being focus fired by 2 capitals at the same time, and it's at full health. Oh my god. They're so overpowered.
Yeah. Somebody, I don't remember who, said something about disallowing certain hull mods in conjunction rather than bans or nerfs, and I'm probably going to do that, which I think will address a fair amount of this.
Yeah. I mean, you can't blame people for finding the really good options and using them. And
No, and whenever Protonus reappears, he will have all of the live testing he could possibly want.
I mean, I was kind of under the impression that this hull mod was the spiritual successor to the other hull mods that are deliberately limited.
No, he tried to make something that was actually genuinely interesting, like game-changing hull mods without making them overpowered. I really love what he did, it's just, it wasn't ready, I guess.
Yeah. I think those Leonbergers need about 99% less toughness. Maybe
In
not
fairness,
99%.
they've been, like, severely undergunned in order to fit all that stuff on them.
That's fair, but their ramming seems to be their most damaging thing.
Yep.
Man, is this gonna be a shame?
No, a few things on this side did die.
Okay, that's good. Because I don't like this fleet.
I don't blame you. guess.
I dislike them on an emotional level. I don't. It's very well built. I cannot fault its building, but on an emotional level, I disapprove.
On an emotional level.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough. Sorry, Kronos.
Yeah, you're about to get eaten. There it goes.
A couple of viruses and a monitor lost, so 30 DP down.
That's actually not that terrible. We've seen worse.
Certainly. Alright. They can die, just not against this. Now, Candy versus Akitsushima.
Aha.
Now, where do you think this will go then? Akitsu has been having a bit of a tough time the last 2 fights.
Well,
Candy's hybrid missile fleet has been doing rather well overall, though.
yeah, I'm gonna give it to the hybrid missile fleet. It's both the wideness and the missiles. I don't think those... We've seen those Skybreakers fail repeatedly against wide fleets.
Which is certainly a concern here.
Yeah, so I'm going to give this one to Candy.
It's going to be really funny if you're wrong about that again.
I tend to be wrong about most things, it seems. Which is an entertaining thing, I think. I hope everyone is entertained by my strong opinions that are all incorrect.
Poor man.
Hey, I'm not running this thing. I can say whatever I want.
My biggest mistake running this tournament, I think, is that I did it alone. I didn't have an assistant this time.
You know, when I ran my tournament, I really wanted an assistant too. There's a surprising amount of admin work. And, you know, it's kind of expected that you'll check over variants and everything.
I did as much as I felt like I could do, but I took for granted how massively helpful JRG was last time. And I should have had at least somebody. I'm going to be doing that next time. I'm not doing this alone again. It's too sad. Right.
Too sad.
they're both going to attack Lancet. It's going to phase. Yep.
Yep, there we go. The Doom!
That's
Did its
predictable
job.
enough. The Doom is like out of flux all of a sudden, but it's behind enemy lines. It no longer needs to care.
It almost didn't make it. That would have been both
Right.
hilarious and also tragic.
Skybreak's backed up to get next to the victory in the Trojans, which is technically the right answer here.
Yeah, the Skybreaks are actually not committing suicide, which is nice. I think that Aurora is going to get a kill if it fires any weapons.
Nah, it
really
decided
weird.
not to. This
Decided not
Suleiman
to
is in
fire?
an awful position.
Ugh.
It managed to kind of back out of there, but with about half its face missing.
Alright, so let's see if this victory can hold down the center. Probably yes. Victories are very strong. And it has those Aegis flat cannons on the back that can deal with the Doom mines.
That's true, but the victory is also at quite high flux.
And it's also EMP'd on its side.
I think that's from the Doom's lightning guns.
Ah, that makes sense. Conquest is kind of flanking up the right. That's a good place for it to be. Yeah, Akitsushi's fleet is crunched. I think that's the best way to put it. They're crunched and the victory is slowly losing.
This Skybreak needs to get out from behind there.
Yeah, oh, that's gonna hurt.
Ouch.
Not as much as I expected, but probably the armor on that side is mostly cracked. I think it did shoot down a good number of those. Oh, that victory.
A Suleiman's
Trying
trying to
its
take
hardest.
advantage and taking some damage for its trouble because the victory is
Yeah,
completely out.
Telemon's overloaded.
Telamon?
Doom. Oh, sorry, not Telemon. That was the wrong ship.
That's not even in this tournament.
No, it's not. That's the other big chunky ship.
Trojan down.
Trojan. Victory's gonna go down soon.
I would call it the Trojan, but it's got an A instead of an O. What the nuts?
Well, Trojan was an emperor.
Oh,
right?
was he?
Yeah, he's one of the Roman emperors.
Okay.
I always pronounce it, I always pronounce it Trajan, but I don't know if that's right because I don't know if I've ever heard it out loud. I've read it. And victory down.
Yep, unfortunately. And the Conquest is beating up the Skybreak. The thing is, a lot of Candy's ships have taken significant damage, but they were always able to get out.
Yeah, it's very good good maneuverability. Just
That's one of
cycling
the, I think,
out
things
with each
that's
other.
really, really noticeable about Kenny's fleet. I don't know how apparent it is, but all of his ships are very fast, except for like this Venture P, but its job is just to sit there spitting missiles, so nobody cares.
Right. Yeah, I've been quite impressed with the Conquest in the fleet too. I feel like Conquests they're one of my favorite ships, but they just have this really mixed tournament record.
Monitor killed.
Okay. Oh, just...
Suleiman's coming in to capitalize on high flux levels on the capitals.
And those Suleimans, they put themselves in bad positions multiple times, but they got out, and by pressing that hard, they let the rest of the fleet capitalize.
Yep.
They kept up the pressure, and they had enough hit points to survive doing it.
And the Auroras were doing the same thing.
Yeah.
It works
It's
really well.
It's a good combination. Is that it? Do we have any flankers?
No, that's it. 2 monitors down and that's it.
Okay. That's kind of surprising that the monitors died and not like the kites or anything, but
Although,
were they
Candy had 100%
reckless
of the
monitors?
bet, so I don't think anybody actually gained lobsters.
Oh, whoops. I think, I think if the outcome of a fight is obvious enough that I can call it correctly, then it's obvious enough for all the viewers.
Now, we're going to take that same hybrid fleet that just won and put it up against Mr. Kinetics every day.
Next every day.
So now who
Excuse me.
wins?
I'm gonna... Oh, that's harder.
Isn't it?
Because there's a lot of shield reliance.
Also, because this fleet is wider, there's not like tough armor anywhere. Except
That's
maybe
a
on
really-
the Venture P, kind of.
I'm
And
gonna
although
bet
this
on
fleet
that.
is a little wide, this fleet is much wider.
I'm gonna bet on Mad Badger for this one. I've bet against them a few times, but their strategy seems to work quite well. They only had that one loss, and that was, well, against craziness, so.
Yes. One of the two more interesting fleets of the day.
I think this could potentially be a much closer fight, but it could also, if there's bad AI on one side, it could seem.
It could. Pardon me while I switch over my music because the one just decided it was over.
Oh no.
Hollow Knight only goes on for so long, sadly. Badger has 80% of the bet, roughly. Because people are no longer willing to bet against him as much.
Keeps costing people lobsters.
Chihuahua's already flying in.
Yep.
And impacts a Doom Mine. That poor thing.
Doom! You know, if the Doom can clean up the small flankers, that makes a big difference.
It will. A wolf has been taken out as well.
This is interesting. I'm kind of, you know, even though I think Bad Badger is going to win, I'm kind of rooting for Candy's fleet.
Interesting.
Mad Badger's fleet is not heresy. I don't dislike it on an emotional level.
I actually really like it. It's like, I don't need explosives. Watch this. And like, there's nothing really being abused here. It's just a concept done well. Admittedly, it is taking advantage of the fact that like Talon Shipworks offers, albeit for expensive, a lot of long-range, powerful kinetics.
Oh, there's an overload up there.
Yep,
but
Metalhead.
The Doom Mines got shot down by its allies. There was some overfiring PD that shot over its shield to protect it from the Doom Mines.
That would be the Pathfinders here. They have a mining lance array that's very, very nice.
Yeah, that was really good fleet synergy. Another wolf down.
Yep.
You know,
Badger can take the loss of some frigates.
Yeah. On the other hand, we've seen time and again that width is really important, and as it loses its width, it's going to start losing its distraction potential.
Yeah, they do need to start getting some kills here.
You know, that totally not a pirate Atlas is going to be in the firing line pretty soon.
Yeah, it can stay at range because it has Gauss cannons.
Okay.
So it won't have to get as close and get swarmed.
Yeah. It's really fascinating to see which fleets swarm which. Because this is actually a very even fight in terms of swarming. No one is really surrounding the others. Although, how are the edges?
There's a Suleiman on this edge, which is sort of being held off by a Prospector and a Chihuahua. Ooh. Sorry, Aurora. Ooh, that's
Rough.
a lot of damage.
Let's see. Is it going to make it out? It needs to put its shield back up.
Just barely. It'll just
Just
barely
barely.
make it out. This monitor's getting bullied too, and I think is gonna die.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yep.
Alright, so there's the kill.
On the other edge, we have the other Suleiman, a Drover and a Monitor, playing with the Adventurer.
That Drover might be in trouble.
This conquest is getting too close.
It's doing a little bit of damage though.
A bit.
A little bit.
Traded with the Metalhead a bit there. The Atlas Mark V is losing to the Atlas Mark 14. Which I find hilarious.
Missiles. You know, the Gauss cannons are a very good fit with this strategy, because despite being kinetic, they're very heavy shells.
Gas cans?
Those are Gauss cannons, sorry.
Oh, Gauss. Okay, I'm sorry, I'd never heard that pronunciation for them.
Pretty sure it's Gauss. Could be wrong.
Yeah, this one's
Frederick.
using the Gauss, whatevers. This side is using the Talon Styrex drivers, I believe.
Ah, okay.
Which are a lot more expensive to mount, but have, I think, a little heavier damage.
You know, those hit points there. The center is going to collapse really soon. Both those those ships are just the Aurora and the Atlas. They're just going to go down soon. They're just going to get pecked away.
The Pathfinder is bullying the Conquest. of all things.
That it is.
It can outrange it is the problem.
Yep. This kind of turned into a battle line fight. The longer range is winning.
Well, it's also just that these ships keep trying to poke in by themselves, but there's a lot here.
Right. You know, in past fights, when one would poke in, it would get hammered a bit, but then the rest would take advantage. And in this case, there's the width. They're too spread out. They can't do the same strategy. Yeah, there we go.
A metalhead goes down somewhere.
Yeah, pair of kills.
The Bitzer's, I think, 1 DP and is there for nav relay and ECM.
Oh, well.
But, I mean, ECM does matter in this situation.
Yeah.
Oh! Where's your health bar, sir?
It's gone. I've spent it. The kite just rammed it for the kill?
No, it was backing up and butted into a kite, overloaded the kite, crushed the kite's hull, and killed itself as a result.
Wah, wah. Meanwhile, the Conquest is doing something nice.
Yeah, it's fighting with this adventurer, but it's losing the Flux War.
Yeah, it's doing pretty well.
The adventurer is actually at less than half flux. It was letting itself get hit there a bit for some reason.
Okay.
Aurora, you might want to, yeah, back up. Before that thing kills you. It is entirely capable of doing so. Back up more. There you go. Now you're out of it. Don't get back in there. Get rid of your flux first. You're going to die.
It has a reckless AI, and it's trying to do what it's told to do. And unfortunately, that's just not right in that situation.
The Doom still has CR left. We're a bit spread out now, actually. There's stuff happening up here, too.
I will say that something like an SO rushdown fleet would pretty handily kill this kinetic standoff fleet. But, yeah.
We didn't actually have any safety override fleet. No, we had one that was a hybrid safety override.
Okay.
I should say.
I feel like safety overrides plus that whole regen mod would be real good. Maybe. I don't know. Have to play with it. There's a lot of OP there. Might not have enough for guns.
There are 2 cruisers up there that seem to be just distracted by frigates. The thing that's going
Are these drones infinite?
I'm sorry?
Are these drones regenerating?
The Seth drones, yes. They can just keep firing forever. They're very weak individually.
Right, they're just pressure. Nice pressure, distracts the enemy, draws fire.
We are seeing that due to Candy's, the mobility in his fleet, it's getting harder for Badger to get a kill. Yeah, this fight is not over. No, it still could be won by Candy, if he gets lucky.
Because, like, we keep seeing the little ships get picked off one by one, and eventually they're gonna be gone.
Will we see Pine, Roth, Sletic, Rosin, Ritter fleet again? I believe so. I think they have a fight or 2 left.
Hey, there's the timeout.
I think timeout favors Candy, personally.
Well, that's gonna be a kill right there.
Starliner dies over there. And yeah, that Prospector's gonna die. Although the Suleiman is now under fire from the Atlas Mark 14.
Which is itself under fire from the Conquest. Oh, this is going to be really interesting. If that Conquest can disable the guns.
Badger could still lose.
The Conquest is winning this fight.
But I think
it was, but now it's getting 2v1'd. I look at the whole bar on the Atlas.
Yeah, no, they're both quite low. The Metalhead is doing something else now.
Oh, oh, just a little more.
They traded some missiles.
You just need to fire your guns at that Atlas a few more times. Oh,
it's got the flak side pointing at the Atlas.
It's overloaded. It's overloaded. There we go. It managed it, but it's gonna die. It's 4v1 right now.
Well, 2v1 and some distraction frigates.
Sure. The Metalhead is actually really close to death. That Conquest did good. It took down a capital and nearly a destroyer when outnumbered. Um,
Suleiman up here is doing badly. What's shooting you? Are you losing to distraction frigates?
yep. I mean, it's surrounded.
Ah, Badger
They've got
used targeting
kinetic-
subsystems, that's right. Well, and there's a Prospector here, which have been doing surprisingly well. The other Suleiman is down. The Doom is probably out of CR, which is, yeah, it's at 31. Oh, it's also out of Flux.
Yeah. So this fight's over, but it was a good fight. I think those drones did a massive amount of work just distracting Akitsushi's fleet.
I'm sorry, whose fleet?
Oh, sorry. That was the wrong person. My bad. The drones did a lot of work.
I would agree. This Venture P had the most armor. It has taken a lot of shots, but hasn't died yet. It's dying now that it's finally lost its armor, but... even then, it's dying a bit slowly. There we go. Another metalhead did die somewhere.
Yeah, there goes that drover. I'm surprised the drovers lived that long.
The Suleiman is at CR 0, even though the Drover is at like 60. I guess the Suleiman has something on it that's reducing its CR. Well, bye. We appear to have a monitor fight over here.
two clerics slapping each other and casting heal wounds. There we go.
What else? There's an Aurora over here still.
Just
And
getting
it still has
distracted.
CR.
The Aurora is running away. I think the Aurora might be some kind of bug with it. Or is it just distracted by a single Chihuahua or something?
Yes. A single Chihuahua. Tech Mind Hole? Oh, yes. That's right.
It's not firing any guns. Does the Aurora have weapons?
It does, it's just having trouble pinning down the Chihuahua.
Hmm.
What's the Chihuahua CR? 50. Okay.
I am.
Oh, here come the Pathfinders. That will be
Yeah.
death.
They'll take it out.
The Pathfinders only have one Styrex, but the long-range Arbalests help, as does that mining array. And the Fisher LRM, I believe they're equipped with. There's even still a wolf left here to come help. Brave little guy. You fought well, Aurora. Maybe.
Amazing that there are so many kills, but that fleet still has small ships left.
Yep, it's just that wide. Alright, I have to count all this.
It's actually a fair number of kills here.
34, 38, 38, 46? No, hold on. 46. And that's 54? 33, 6, 7, 8, 87, 97, 107, 112? 114, 16, 18. Okay, 118.
Okay.
I'll be double checking all of this later to make absolute sure I have it, but just for now.
Yeah, that was a good fight.
That was. I appreciate that.
I can see that swinging the other way, but it would need some good pushes. You just gotta like get two capitals, like the Conquest. If the Conquest had some allies during its push, if it had an Aurora next to it when it did that big push and killed the Atlas, that could have been a thing.
I agree. So
It wasn't, but could have been.
Badger, versus Ark. Do you remember what we're doing here?
This is, it's missile time, isn't it?
Missile time versus kinetic time.
Yeah, the missiles are gonna win. Sorry.
There are an awful lot of them, but there are many, many targets.
There are many targets. Well, we'll see. We'll see.
It'd be really funny if the initial swarm all went in on a Chihuahua that just zipped out of the way.
That would be good.
Okay, I'll see you later, dear. Love you. Good kitty. Yes, you are. You're being all quiet now that I'm letting you sleep on me, aren't you? Yes. Well, Ark has 67% of the vote, which is a little less than I thought it would be.
People have faith in Badger.
I mean, it's not ill-placed. Badger has done quite well, and it is a wide fleet. If they can get in range, which Badger's fleet is made to do, they could well win. Immediate swarms of missiles aimed at the Chihuahuas and the Wolves.
Forgot the locusts. Locusts are just gonna eat them alive.
Yep.
Boosted locusts. Oh god, the metalheads is already down. I think this might even be a shame. We'll see, but oof. God, look at those missiles that just go right around the shield to the side and do like half the whole bar. Just rough.
That's Prospector. More Chihuahuas. I'm not holding out too much hope.
I think this is gonna be a shame. I think it's gonna be a shame in like 60 seconds. I suppose it's already been 60 seconds, but
You want to try another prediction?
well,
There's an
It's
archer up here
hyperbolic.
that's in range of the guns. It's taking some damage.
oh yeah, maybe that archer will die. That would be nice.
Not impossible.
Not impossible. It's getting some help from some debris. I mean, the top fleet's got to run out of missile ammo at some point, right?
At some point, yes. None of the missiles they're using are autoloaders. At least none
Right,
of the main
because-
ones you're seeing. There's
Right,
Pendragon
because-
Merv catapults, Found Swarmers, Locusts, but all of those are limited.
In general, that should be the right call for tournaments, I think, because tournaments are always the equal sides. I suppose it depends on the fleet strategy. Yeah, that's overloaded.
And taking Hecatons, also limited. In fact, very limited, but perhaps not enough so. It's a question of whether they can survive, because I know there's also spandex racks all over the place.
That archer might go down. It's taking some fire from the metalhead.
It might.
Oh god. Just look at that. Overloaded. Big missiles incoming. At least the monitor with the hard flux dissipation. At least that's gonna eat a lot of firepower.
Badger did a good job, as ASK says, outlasting the initial burst, just because his fleet is so wide, but there's still too much.
It's way too much. Can't even get into range before. Well, no, they're in range, but yeah. I mean, Badger's fleet is built around like grinding down the enemy with relentless shield pressure, and that doesn't work if you're dead.
No. You're being called out, Thago.
No, I've always liked these legions. I said good on them for using legions because legions are style points. I do think conquests would be better than legions in general, although they don't have fighters. But you know,
Well, it hurts to see, but yeah, there was still too much missile left.
yeah, this is just rough. Here come the locusts to finish off the monitors. Monitors are just regenning their shields away, but they don't have extended shields.
Nope.
So that was a lot of firepower for one wall.
And even if they did have extended shields, you know, they can only take so much flux.
Right. They'll go down eventually. Although, looking at these two, their flux levels are actually fine. It's just the locusts going in the back are what's killing them. Oh, okay, this one's finally building up.
It's just by the time they got down to those few monitors, there were only some weak missiles left, I think is the problem.
That makes sense. Yeah, that was a shame.
Unfortunately.
A real shame. That it was a shame.
In answer to whoever asked, yeah, Hrothgar and Pies have like 4 fights left. Now the next fleet is Idiopathics Immortals versus Ark's Missile Spam.
I mean, I don't think any fleet we've seen today can beat the missile spam. That's just going to be my my guess. I think, you know, as much as I've said that those Leon burgers are unkillable, I think this is enough.
You think this is sufficient burst damage?
I think this is sufficient burst damage to kill the Leon burgers. Who knows? I'll be... You know, I actually don't know which of these fleets I want to lose. I'm unsure which one I want to lose, but I think Archangel's got this. How are the bets going, though?
They're in Idio's favor.
Okay. People have Leon faith.
Not necessarily inappropriate.
Yeah, I mean, they have done extremely well, and I am often wrong.
Oh, the bets are actually a lot more even now. Back to being in Idio's favor, if only slightly.
You know, it is true that Archangel's fleet has very few guns, and the Leon burgers are going to charge.
That's true, they're going to get immediately in their face. I don't think any of those missiles are, capable of hitting their own friends.
So it could just be a whole fleet overfiring and ganging up. We'll see. Next edition of Ram Wars.
The Apatsid has quite a bit of long-ranged firepower. That might do something.
Woof.
Immediate Sheba death, not surprising.
Not surprising at all.
What we need to keep an eye on is the Leon burgers. What their hull's going to look like as things happen.
They have...
That burst
they have...
deleted a bunch of missiles. I forgot that that's one of the effects.
Yeah, they have AoE missile destruction.
They
They're
can't
taking
spam
some.
it, but they have it.
Oh, okay. We got a little bit of damage going on. I mean, the Leon burger is taking a lot of hits, but they're just not doing anything.
They're not focus firing on it the way they were with other fleets, probably because it's in their face in a way they weren't expecting, I guess.
Yeah, well, that was a good amount of armor damage.
Those bafflers really hurt. Oh, and those hecatons hurt too. That actually disabled some of the Leon's guns.
That is very good.
How's the Apatsid doing? It's doing okay. Probably because
Doing its
Leon's
job?
distracted so much.
Ooh, nice overload there.
And it's taking advantage. Is that a Reaper hit? Barely dodged.
Oh, barely dodged.
The Apatsuit is charging in, though. It is taking damage as it does so.
Yeah. So it's kind of eating the focus fire of the fleet. You know, the Leons are chasing phase ships.
That's not a great thing for them to do.
Yeah, that's a little unfortunate. They could be doing a lot of damage on the other side of the fleet. All right, we've two modules overloaded. Ooh, it's the main ship. Uh-oh. Oh, that's a lot of missiles.
Yep, gun module taken out.
Ooh, that Apatsuit is not long for this world.
Probably not.
The Leon burgers are still full health.
Yeah, they're doing all right. The Apatsuit insists on using its burn drive again. Get me closer.
You know, the Leons are helping. They're drawing attention away from it. Oh, it's...
I mean, it has nothing left at this point.
Yeah.
So it's down
On
to
the other
what
hand,
the Leons do.
the Atlas is overloaded. There's an Apatsuit in its... Not an Apatsuit, the Leonberger in its face.
Yeah, but remember the Leons are severely undergunned. They can only do so much damage so quickly.
So let's see. The Leon's about to get focused. A little bit. I hope.
Ooh, that's a lot of baffler fire.
It's regenerating health. I mean, it's taking some damage, but look, its health bar is just not ticking down. Oh, it's flamed out.
Yep, but that's actually kind of in its favor if it goes away.
Yeah.
Where's the other one? Over here? Similar situation?
Similar situation. Very similar situation, actually. Does it stop regenerating health ever?
It takes a severe efficiency cut at a certain CR point.
So it might be a CR game to take out the Leonbergers. Because they don't seem particularly effective, but they're also just unkillable.
You realize that if it goes to a CR game, Ark's gonna run out of all of their missiles.
Yeah?
They don't have guns, really. They've got bafflers, I guess. Which will be sufficient if they lose the CR war, I guess?
I mean, I guess... We'll see. I hate the Leonbergers. I'm not gonna lie. I think that level of hull regen is just not appropriate.
It's hull regen and also just barely taking damage in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen capital ships get killed in 10 seconds by this level of missile barrage. It's a very pretty system with all those lightning bolts, though.
I know, isn't it?
I mean, I'd put these Leonbergers at 100 DP each, maybe 120.
I think they are.
Oh!
Or at least close to. They're very expensive.
Alright. I'm trying to think of how, if I knew I was going up against them, I'm trying to think of what I'd do.
They're 52? Seriously?
I think the only thing I can think of would be mass Reaper spam from SO ships. And even then, it would be hard because it has those lightning bolts. On the other hand, like you said, they spent so many OP on defense that they're not really killing anything.
Yeah, have you noticed they haven't killed anything?
Yeah.
So on the one hand, yes, they're not dying, but also,
I'm surprised they're not ramming more things. That's how they got a lot of their kills so far. Well, there we go. There's a ram.
I mean, it does have an assault chain gun and a devastator. They're doing a little bit of damage here and there. But for the fact that they are big capital ships, supposed to be a phase assault capital, they're supposed to be getting a lot of kills.
Yeah. You know, it's a pity that the combat analytics doesn't work on missions. I I wonder if the amount of damage they've absorbed is up to the millions.
It's a good question.
You know, because I'm just looking at the damage numbers on screen, just from this moment, and there's, you know, thousands of damage on it right now. And it's fine. It's taking a little hull damage. It's regenning.
You have to remember that they're constantly using that damper field as well.
Yeah. I mean, okay, this is now being focus fired by 3 capital ships and a cruiser. And let's see. It's down to half hull.
Yep, won't be for long.
Now it's
if
not
nothing
down to
shoots
half
at it.
hull. Now it's 2/3 hull.
Oh, there's a monitor left that isn't dead somehow.
There we go. There's that ram. Killed the archer.
Timeout. That's not going to matter at all. Everyone is already being as aggressive as they can.
Now this Leon is up to 3/4 hit points.
Are you going to... There you go. With the armor stripped, it's taking a lot more damage from every impact, but
Yeah, they're gonna sweep the field slowly. I think at this point, I was wrong. There is simply not enough missile firepower in this fleet to kill these ships. I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong. I think they just have infinite hit points.
I mean, I'm not a fan of either fleet, so I'm not sure if I care who wins. Neither fleet has lost. It's a question of... I guess it's a question of which fleet is more likely to lose one of their remaining fights.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like... I mean, yeah.
I don't know.
Gross. This is why we shouldn't have hull regen, everyone. This right here.
I do think that some sort of hull regen would be interesting, but I think the one here is overtuned.
I think it's just fundamentally broken, to be honest. Oh, okay, I shouldn't say that. I think a hull regen with limits on the maximum it can do would be okay. You know, that would be trading short-term survivability for long-term survivability. Like, say you have a capital ship that's a little light on hull, but has a hull regen, that can hull regen, say, a maximum of 3 times its, you know, hull. So it's vulnerable to a heavy strike, but then could get put in a long fight.
Could recover.
Yeah, that would be interesting hull regen design. I could get behind that. But not this. This is just dumb.
I'm beginning to think I might need to hit speed up if we're ever going to get out of here.
I mean, what's this? How much CR do the Leonbergers have by default? Are they a high CR ship or a low CR ship in terms of peak performance time?
It's a phase capital, so I think it should be on the lower end.
I could see them CRing out, maybe, but they haven't started ticking yet. If they CR out, then, well, do they still regen hull when they're CR'd out?
It goes down to 1/3 efficiency.
It's not enough. Even if they're CR'd out, I think they'll still win. I don't think this fleet can overcome their whole regeneration.
On the other hand, the
We'll see.
Leonbergers barely have, like, they're not...
Yeah, they
doing
don't have
damage.
much offense, but yeah.
Go for speed up? Yeah, I'm thinking I probably should at this point. Right. There's a monitor left over here.
There's an
this going
entire
on?
fleet just
They're
uselessly
dancing
looking at it.
now. Alright.
Ah, this is just...
Whoop.
ugh. Leonberger got flamed out during its charge, so it's going to be off the field for a while. Ram killed an Atlas.
The monitors quickly die to, I assume, CR. I guess we'll keep it on the Legions.
Do they have any... Yeah, I mean, The Leonbergers are not ticking yet. They are capitals.
Legions aren't ticking yet either. Oh, hello.
The Leonberger, it's flamed out. Like, it's vulnerable to these EMP drones. But it's just... okay. So its health is going down. No, its health is going back up. Nope. Yeah. Oh, no? Maybe?
It is taking a lot of damage whenever something hits it now.
Just, yeah? I mean, it's probably taken over 10 million damage at this point, before damage mitigation. Something like that. Like, the damage mitigation's a lot, but...
Where's the other one? What is it doing? Not much. Leonberger is ticking, so is the Legion.
Oh, it's ticking!
So they're about equal.
Oh, okay. Well... we'll see. So not only are they unkillable, but I think they're going to win the CR war.
Ban UGH, doesn't your fleet rely on that tilt? Yes.
So we have determined that no, an entire fleet full of alpha missiles is not enough damage to overcome the regen of the Leonbergers.
Apparently.
They are, in fact, invulnerable.
No, I'm not going to ban it, but I am going to severely limit the combos you can do with it.
I mean, it's true that the Leonbergers have very, very poor offense, too.
Yeah, like as much as it's taking forever to kill them, they are taking forever to kill anything.
But they're still going to regen whole when they're out of CR?
At only a third efficiency. It really should be 0 at 0 CR.
It should also impose a CR. Oh, never mind. I'm not a fan.
No, like I said, it was too early for me to introduce UGH. It really was.
And now that Leonberger at 7% isn't ticking because the other ships have 0.
Bye, Legion.
This is just... Leons are dumb.
I'm tempted to just call this a loss for both fleets. Like, I'm really tempted.
Yeah, the chat is
The chat is rightfully. Okay, do I call this a loss for both fleets? What do I do? If I don't want to watch this play out for the next 20 minutes.
Is everyone at 0 CR?
Yeah.
Huh. Well, speed up and see if anyone manages to shoot. I mean, I think the Leons are going to win just because everyone's at 0 CR, but they have regen. So they will slowly chip away until they win.
You both lose, none of you are free of sin would be an appropriate ruling. I agree.
And that Leon is slowly losing some hit points. If the other Legion stops spinning ever, which I don't actually think it will.
I don't know why this Legion is like venting after every shot. It's actually losing part of the burst because it's doing that.
It doesn't have any shields left. So it might just be keeping its flux low.
And now the guns are malfunctioning.
Yeah, I think the other Legions, its engines are all out. And so it's just going to be spinning forever. I mean, the
That is
Leon
kind of funny.
The Leon is losing hit points, but then it just gains them right back, and I think the Legion's out of guns. Does it have Vulcans left or anything, or?
Not much. Alright, no, I'm done. You both lose. Screw you.
I don't even think that's fair to punish the missile fleet. Like, the missile fleet is just a very typical Alpha Strike missile fleet. It's very, very good, and I kind of hate it because it's so good, but it's not like... It's not abusing the rules, really.
Where do my lobsters go, though?
Well, I'll be right back while you handle this.
You all get your lobsters back. I hit the refund button. The Leons would win, but it would take bloody forever. It's not a victory in the spirit of the thing. We'll call it the... Yeah, what Lightning said. We'll call it that and move on. House always wins. Everybody loses. In fairness, I wasn't as harsh as I could have been about missile spam metal. Wait, there's more to come. The remaining matches... we have Eleanor and Wasara, Akitsu versus Ideo, Candy versus Rothgar Pies versus Badger, Ideo versus Wasara, and Wasara versus Rothgar Pies. So Ideo does show up 2 more times. That felt like the last match, I know. If I'd known what those fleets were going to be like, I'd have put them in the last position. Well, anyway. Yes, meow. You're adorable. Alright. Eleanor versus Wasara. Here, bet on that one. I will refrain from giving my opinions on this until my lovely Thago is back. Whenever he's back. Eventually, I'm sure.
I have returned.
You have returned. So, this time, we have Wasara, remember the Dobermans and all that, versus Eleanor.
Ooh, I think this is gonna be a good fight.
I think so too. I think this is exactly what we need after that last one.
Yeah, let's have a nice palate cleansing, exciting gunnery duel.
This should be fun. This is 2 sets of like relatively tall offensive fleets.
I wonder if that can get behind the Capitals. Oh,
Immediately
wow,
torments the Fury.
What were those?
That's the Matsar system.
Oh, they are. No.
Could you switch
my
to some
professional opinion.
upbeat music? You know what? Hold on. Do I have upbeat music ready? Because that would be appropriate. I don't know if I have upbeat music ready. This is colorful. I don't know what it is, but it's colorful.
Are you being careful and using royalty-free music?
I don't know. I use... Anything that says name of game, a complete OST, basically, is what I'm using. I don't know if that counts as royalty-free.
Okay, the Dobermans are a little pinched, but they are firing.
Yep.
Now, whoa, they did a good job.
Wasara has taken some minor losses.
Ooh, that Paragon is... needs to back up just a little bit and let the Dobermans catch up.
Projector hit on the Nibelung.
See, it's a Paragon duel, not much happening there.
Nope.
Doberman is slowly advancing towards the Paragon.
Yeah, that poor gun wall is so slow. The Lurker is having a hard time of it. There's no one it can really easily victimize, it seems.
Yeah, that Fury that got Alpha Strike is still alive and contributing.
That it is. Peregrine's dead.
Okay.
Wasara is so far taking the loss. And that Iris is about to die.
Yeah.
The remains of a Fury gets slung at the Doberman because of the Chronos. That's kind of funny. Iris dead.
Okay, there's a Doberman versus a Chronos.
That's a loss for the Chronos.
Yeah, we'll just see how long the Chronos sticks around. Because if it distracts it over and over again, that's actually a good use of a Chronos.
That's true, and it could do that. The Doberman is slow.
Yeah, it's really it's a question of whether the Chronos gets sucked in, because that would end poorly. Meanwhile, the Doberman behind is not doing anything.
Nibelung was sort of distracting the Paragon, but did take some damage for the trouble.
Ooh, Chronos took some hits.
Yep. This Doberman needs to get up here, as it casually just burns some debris away. Not sure why it opened fire.
Oh, Fury's overloaded in front of the Doberman, but I think it's fast. Yeah, it's fast enough.
Took a glancing blow from the Guardian cannons. This Doberman is taking blows on its sides.
Right. Let's see how is this Chronos going to back off in time? Oh.
Nope, it's going to take some damage.
It's pushing a little too hard,
Not
which is
serious kind of serious damage.
Normally I want fast battlecruisers to push. Like normally that's what they should do, but in this case, oh boy, I think that Chronos is going to go down.
Pushing against a gun wall is a bad idea.
There it goes.
The Chronos made a poor decision there.
Yep.
Where's the other Chronos? Oh, it's over here playing with a Peregrine. Okay. Nibelung no. Nibelung bad. Back up.
Well, the Doberman at least did not move to flank, which is good, because if it had moved sideways and had a clear firing line, this would be even worse.
Eleanor screaming at her fleet because they're supposed to be steady.
Oh, Eleanor named one of the ships Syracuse? Awesome.
This Peregrine will die to this Chronos here.
Yeah.
Doberman is shooting at the Paragon, but it's distracted by the Fury as well.
Tempest down.
Ooh, this is close. Like, they're relatively even right now. I'm not sure who will win. That Foka made a very poor decision.
It got nudged forward just a little bit, I think. And that Chronos also just backed into the firing line, but I think it's got enough shields that it'll be okay.
I think Eleanor might lose this just because they don't have a way to approach those Dobermen safely.
We'll see. Is
this Lurker gonna get itself killed here? I mean, it's trying to fight the Chronos, but there's a Sovereign right there.
I mean, it did just push the Chronos into the range of the Doberman.
Yeah, and the Lurker
And
teleported out.
Oh, that Chronos is in. It's gonna make it because it's fast enough, but boy, did it get hurt. Oh, Paragon just got blown away. Peregrine, sorry.
Yep. Very dead there. Lurker is now behind the enemy fleet. The Paragon is getting pressured.
That Chronos.
And the Doberman's taking damage too over here.
Yeah, the Chronos are doing their. Oh, Lurker down.
Lurker down.
Okay, can the Paragon take a Doberman?
The Doberman has lost a module, which is important because that's one of its shields.
Right, right. The Paragon is out of flux, but they are just very tough.
The Darnus is tormenting this Doberman. That's the bravest thing I've seen it do. The most offensive thing I've seen it do this entire time. Kudos, but you might die.
You might die. This is a pretty effective distraction. Wow, good job, little guy.
And it did damage. It stripped away some of the armor on the side. Fair play.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That Paragon is in trouble.
This is a sharp battle what's happening right here.
This could go either way. That Doberman on the left just needs to get in firing range and get some kills. If the Doberman on the right stopped
playing with the Darnus.
Yeah. It would make all the difference.
Okay, they all decided to disengage and try again some other day.
Okay, there's a timeout, which means that the that cautious AI is suddenly going to charge.
Yep. Hopefully not right into all those bullets. Fury dead. This Doberman is taking serious damage, though. It might die. Ow. It might kill the Nibelung first.
Might kill the Nibelung first.
Especially if the Nibelung is only taking damage at this point because it shields badly.
I'm back from tutoring.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
And see, Doberman's down.
There we go. Doberman's down. So now it's a Doberman versus what the heck is that thing again?
Sovereign.
Sovereign.
And it's having a hard time. It lost a module.
Yep.
The Sovereign's having a hard time too, though.
The Sovereign has not done all that much this fight.
This Paragon might
Kronos.
die just now, although so might the Kronos. Hard to tell who... Oh, taking hits from the Nibelung. I think Eleanor might have this. Just barely.
Yeah, I mean, Kronos for Paragon is a good trade. They're going to be able to flank the remaining Doberman. I think that Doberman is going to win its duel, and then it's going to get killed. Ooh, maybe? Nope.
Hit with the Otome. Just an overload, though.
Yeah, I think all those shielded modules really help, giving it layered defenses. You know, I really like the design of the Doberman. It's a very strong ship, but it has its weaknesses.
I really like it. Alright, it managed to beat the Sovereign. It has a little Iris buddy left who's about to die. It could kill the Nibelung if it's lucky. The Nibelung has very little hull left.
Yeah, I don't think it can take the Paragon, though.
Nope, it's gonna die.
There it goes.
Just got all its modules stripped immediately.
So the Nibelung barely survived, and that made all the difference. That was a good fight. It's a very good
close fight, but Eleanor won.
Yep.
Ooh, with like very little left.
It was an expensive victory.
It was an expensive victory, but a victory nonetheless. Let's see, 130, 160, 175, 181, 194? 194. So 2/3 of her fleet down, but...
Hey! Still a victory.
Eleanor only had 30% of the vote, too. It was definitely in Wasara's favor.
It was a very tight fight.
It says major victory, I'm sorry. In fairness, there's a lot of DP tied up in that remaining Paragon and Nibelung. Alright, now it's Akitsushima's turn to try and deal with the Immortals.
They will not succeed. Sorry.
Probably not.
I mean, maybe if you had, like, 20 simultaneous Reaper hits on Bear Hull? I don't know. Because that damper field is there.
I mean, we do have some heavy damage here. Auto pulses, hurricanes, those Clutokine's guns, Tachyon lances.
I would love to be wrong. I would be just so pleased if I was wrong.
Yeah.
Well, freeze on, just bet 10 lobsters on Akitsushima.
I appreciate it.
Yep.
The only other time Idio shows up is against Wasara, meaning those Dobermans in the Paragon. The Dobermans do intense amounts of high explosive. But they're also not very mobile. Alright, let's just get this show on the road.
Maybe a Doberman has the DPS to deal with those things. Maybe, actually, because you're right, they have a lot of HE.
And that Grand Salvo thing they do is also pure HE. It's Devastator Cannon type, so it's not like direct fire, but it's still so much.
But I could see that grinding one down, maybe. It's possible.
You're being very cautious.
I thought the missile burst was going to deal with them.
I did too.
Yeah, I thought, okay, we've seen that firepower delete capitals in seconds. It'll be enough for the Dobermans. They have no shields. But I forgot about the lightning system, and then, yeah.
I do like a good anti-missile system, though. It's fun, but...
Oh, yeah. That system is a nice, good system. It's powerful, but it's not broken. I don't know if auto pulses are heavy enough. Because auto pulses only have 200 shot size.
Those Leon Burgers just crushed a scalper between them. Christ, that was cruel.
It was brutal.
And the thing is, there is still this chunk.
Yeah, I love how in that other fight that got killed pretty easily.
Of course it did.
Alright, so the Hamburgers are distracting. It is going to start taking fire from the Victory and its main HE guns.
Which it is doing now, yes.
Yeah.
Come on, Victory,
So,
fire the Plutokeens. I mean, I know you need to line them up first, but...
I mean, it just took 2 high HEF boosted Tachyon Lances, and its hull is already back to full.
Leon's need a heavy DP increase. This system is cool, hull mods or not. I agree with those things.
If there was no regen, then they would have been taken out pretty easily by the other fleet.
Press R. What does R do? Yeah, I'm going to make it so that certain hull mods cannot exist alongside certain others for the second round. I'm going to try and be very careful so that I don't break some of the more interesting fleet strategies while also preventing the ones we're sick of. I can't ban UGH outright. That would require way too much time on the part of the entrance to refit.
Yeah, unfortunately, that capital is taking its toll, and nothing in this fleet is capable of doing hull damage to the Leon Burgers. It's just, Tachyon Lances against bare hull are not sufficiently powerful.
And it doesn't help that there's still lots of distraction irises, monitors, Shibas, and this thing still shooting at them quietly.
Oh yeah, the whole fleet too.
It's a really good strategy, even though I hate watching it.
Oh yeah, you just have a completely unkillable ships slowly ramming and being very good distractions. Victory's overloaded. There are those heavy missiles. The irises are kind of blocking the TPC rounds, but that's okay. There we go. That's gonna finish it. Yep.
Yeah, with just the Skybreaks left, I don't think there's much hope for a comeback. Where are the Leons all of a sudden? What are you doing? Oh, there's a Trojan over here. Why are you all the way over? You got rammed, I assume.
The Leons are just playing.
Why are you... If I move the screen a bit, you're all by yourself. Just enjoying the void of space.
One of the sky breaks. The other is probably going there soon.
That's what R does, right. Armor readout. I forgot it did the armor readout. Well, it has no frontal armor, but I guess that's not surprising.
Yeah, Eleanor.
with this one. Yep, also missing frontal armor. Again, not surprising. Again, they just crush a ship between them. Brutal.
Brutal.
Oh, they lost a Chihuahua, though.
Not a shame.
Not a shame. Oh, Tartiflet. Hello. The hell are you doing watching me?
Alright, alright.
I'm vastly inferior. Yeah, I might do something similar to that. Like, it's either going to be either mutually exclusive hull mods, or you can have one UGH thing. Maybe two. Maybe two if it's certain ones that weren't that bad. Anyway, Candy's hybrid missile fleet versus the Holy Knight Hrothgar's general purpose thing with the Rosenritter backup.
You know, I'm gonna go for Candy. It's just that hybrid gun and missile has been very consistently a good fleet.
It has been, it has been. Here's the bet. Was Candy not the name you intended to have, NC? Just randomly passing by? Well, I appreciate it. You make sure you have a good day, Tart. Missed all of what? Not really? Should I not be calling you Candy? Well, you do have the majority of the bet, so I'm going to pretend that that makes up for it. Sad. Miss my feet. I miss my fleet performing well. Yeah, you've been doing all right. All right. I wonder where Hrothgar and Pies are. Different time zone, I assume.
Ooh.
Alright. I don't think Hrothgar and Pies have won yet.
Did he?
I feel a bit bad for them.
Alright. They seem to be weathering the initial missile storm pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, since Candy's a hybrid missile fleet, they don't have as much of an alpha strike, and they go for sustain instead. That Liberator's already taking a fair amount of damage, though.
Yeah, that was a couple of hurricanes right into an overload. Not too bad follow-up, though. It mostly got away with that overload without getting, you know, completely murdered.
Yep.
Oh, there's
They
one.
are kind of being put in a ball, though. Like I've said,
Yeah.
one of Candy's major advantages is the extremely mobile nature of his fleet.
It's just a lot of pressure. Just pressure, pressure, pressure. That Rosenritter ship, well, it was pushing a little bit, but now it's not.
Candy's also got an ECM lead, that's a good point.
That helps a lot. Oof. Good, good missile. Yeah, this is...
Nope.
This
Hrothgar and
is
Pies
a-
have been surrounded.
Yeah, it's surrounded and they're just getting picked off. Missiles are coming in. No chance to vent.
Not even necessarily by missiles. These cruisers are just popping in and out.
Yeah, yeah.
That's such a
It's
tight
kinda-
little ball.
Oof.
Are you seeing NC in chat?
I had not seen that.
I assume this was your intended strategy then, NC.
It's It's kind of the perfect thing for something like a conquest that can just, it's got pretty good range, it's got its missiles, it can just use its system to stand off, and its targets can never do anything but sit there, because they can't even run.
I was depressed from last stream, but yes. Oh yeah, last stream you had to go up against Ark.
Oh. Yeah.
But no, this is just working out exactly as you wanted it to. And you should definitely watch back, you had some good fights. That poor Liberator. Did those Hurricanes just turn around?
Yeah, they do that sometimes. I wonder what they were targeting.
I assume they were targeting the Liberator, but I don't know why the Liberator's death would cause them to go whoop.
Well, the sub-munitions will try to retarget. They're just usually really bad at it.
Last time NC had fights with both top fleets. Oh right, he also had to fight Hideo. That didn't work out so well. Howler! Howler, ban the robot!
Gross.
Yeah. I don't think Hrothgar and Pies they haven't even killed anything.
Ooh. I mean, it's kind of unfortunate. They have this pretty nice general standoff with HVD fleet, but they're not getting to engage in their preferred manner. No. They're getting pushed, they're getting balled.
I like Hrothgar and Pie's fleet, it's just not working really well.
Yeah. It kind of needs to be spread out, so they have like concentrated firing lanes with multiple ships firing at one target, as opposed to the opposite.
Aren't those robots legal? Probably, but who's going to do anything about it? Besides my dear Howler. If they're not illegal, they should be.
Nice little double kill to end it off.
And yeah, no losses.
Woof.
Which, Candy had been doing well before, but he hadn't pulled off a shame. So congrats, I think.
Yeah. Nice job. Fleet worked perfectly.
And next, we have Hrothgar and Pies again, but this time versus Badger.
Well, Badger consistently performs well, and unfortunately Hrothgar just, it just hasn't really worked out, so for me it's, again, Badger.
I'm inclined to agree, and also because one of the strategies Hrothgar is using is, stand up with HVDs, and Badger's out and out doing that, but better.
Yep. Very long-range kinetics.
So I don't expect... I
think it's going to be rough, unfortunately. I like Hrothgar, Burnt Pie's fleet, but I just don't see this going very well.
Yeah.
Yeah, Badger, what are you using that outranges HVDs? You got some 1200 range guns?
He used Talon Shipworks guns. So, for example,
okay.
In the medium slot we have the Maga-era Twin-Linked, which is 1100.
Can you hover over that for just a second? I want to see its stats. Oh wow, that's a really good gun.
Yep.
Yep.
And then
that's
in large
just a really
slots
good
we
gun.
have mostly Styrics Kinetics.
See, that's interesting, because to me, this gun has both pros and cons versus the Gauss cannon, whereas that other gun looked really, really good.
I'd have to look at it later.
Yeah.
Compare them.
I mean, not busted. Not at all busted. Just a quite good weapon.
Alright. Pygar does have a small percentage of the bet, about 13%.
Okay. Okay.
Most of the mediums are long-range arbalists. The long-range arbalists are 1200, but very weak in terms of damage.
Hmm. But when you get enough ships with those, suddenly you just have this wall of support fire.
Yep. The Battler ADL is really good against the Chihuahuas. It deletes a lot of clones at once.
Oh, that's interesting.
Just because it's a mine spitter. Yeah, I think he only put, as he mentions, Maga Eras on the metalheads. I don't think there's a lot of other medium slots in the fleet.
I really like how the drones are used, both as little support but also as distraction. It's a nice piece of fleet design.
It's because they move so slowly, which means they can get shot down by point defense, but they've got a decent amount of health as well. A Prospector's dead, not a shame. The Noctikasong is pretty good, actually. It's very mobile.
Mm-hmm. You know, this is actually much more even than I expected so far.
It is at the moment.
Because, you know, the Badger is correct that they outrange, but not by too much outrange.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. That Rosenritter cap is doing well.
So far it is, yes. And it gives a passive buff to the Regalia that are nearby it, so if they can get in and fight a little, that'll help. I don't know why the Bungalow Carrier is up front, though.
Yeah, run, Bungalow, run! You are not supposed to be there!
It's really a bad spot.
It is getting pushed a little bit, but...
Noctikasong is trying very hard to kill that Prospector. It's pushing a lot in order to try and achieve that.
Yeah, we'll see. Its shields are getting quite high.
Yeah.
Oh, Bungalows, you're so slow.
Alright, now the Noctikasong is backing off. Was not
Also,
quite able to kill.
This fleet with so many little drones and everything is murdering your frames.
Yeah, it's not awful though. At least it's not jittery.
Oh no, yeah, I mean, it's fine. I just find it interesting what impacts performance and what doesn't. Oh, there goes the Bungalow.
Yep, not surprising.
It got pushed out in front, and then I think the capital shields were just too wide for it to get past.
The Liberator is starting to take some damage as well.
Yeah, it's getting focused fired by a lot of long-range poke.
The Noctikasong is attempting to take out the Starliner.
I should hope so. My goodness. It's just a Starliner.
Adjudicator over here is not doing well. We've got a Prospector over here distracting them.
So the Regalia are now near their mothership. That's good.
I'm glad they're moving the webcam. It was halfway that, Otters, and halfway that the game apparently just needs warm-up time. Like today, I had it run the benchmark mission for about a half hour before stream, and I had very little to worry about once I actually started. So apparently there's some like, virtual memory loading that needs to happen.
How much VRAM do you have on your graphics card?
Like 3.5, I need more.
Oh, that's actually, I mean, on a graphics card, that's actually a lot. Huh.
I wouldn't call it a lot, it's decent.
Well, it's not a lot, but...
But for what I do, it's not very much.
Fair.
Not just Starsector, but, you know.
I got you.
But that costs, so, you know.
I mean, graphics cards are, like, impossible to buy right now.
I don't even need one of the new ones, man. Like what Otters is saying, 8 gigabytes would do me. I really am thinking of just rebuilding my computer at some point, though. I have a somewhat older motherboard.
Yeah, I have, my computer is, yeah, it's okay. It's getting up there a little bit. I have a first generation Ryzen as a CPU, which is just, not the greatest anymore.
The Noctikasong is actually doing well against the Atlas Mark 14 here.
Nice. the metalhead almost died, but it's retreated safely.
Yeah, it somehow managed to survive just enough of those mines. The Liberator
there goes
is
the Liberator.
down, though. Don't upgrade now? I don't have the money to upgrade right now, anyway. So don't worry.
Ooh,
Alright,
Starliner might go
14 is
down.
retreated. Starliner is probably going to die. Yeah, yes?
There we go.
Yeah, Starliner dead.
Nice. There goes the Starliner.
And, you know, Rothgar and Pi still have a decent amount of their fleet left.
Yeah, it's actually it's not going that badly. I don't think they're gonna win.
It's not
but
as
it's going
dominant
pretty
a
well.
fight as some of Badger's previous fights.
Yeah,
A metalhead
Ooh.
down to I'm not sure what, and a wolf.
that was kind of weird.
We do appear to be at the bottom of the map, though, so Badger is still succeeding in pushing his opponent around.
Right, but I know it's not encirclement like the last fight. They've managed to spread out enough so they have a little bit of maneuvering room.
Yep. For some reason, parts of Badger's fleet are just spread out around up here?
Oh. What? That's weird.
Yeah, I'm not sure why.
Huh. Well, I think this is approaching it. There goes the hammerhead.
Just about.
Oh yeah, you're right. It has survived. There it goes.
There it goes. I think Badger will win this still.
I'm pretty confident at this point, but it might take a bit because they're just chewing through ships slowly but surely.
But it was blah, blah, blah. Pardon me. It was one of the more, not maybe difficult, but slower fights he's had to get through.
Yeah,
Rothgar and Pi stood up a lot better against his strategy.
Rothgar Pi's got some good kills. You know, it chased off a good number of ships.
Pygar, rather.
Pygar. Pygar, the Barcanade. Okay.
I'd be super happy if Badger loses this. Why?
Yeah, I just don't see that happening. It's just a very good, well-executed, long-range kinetic plan against a generalist fleet.
I think I'm the only one who bet on Pygar. Ah. This Pathfinder is kind of by itself now for some reason.
I mean, you wanna... What's the rest of the fleet up to?
They're
Just hanging
watching.
out? They're watching. Yep. That's really weird.
The Pathfinder is going to die as a result.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even gonna die for a good reason. It's just dying because the rest of the AI kind of dirked out and just hung around. There we go. Now the fleet's actually engaging a little bit. It would be crazy if the ships trickle in one by one and all die. I don't think it's gonna happen, but
I mean, Pygar still has the Noctikasong, all 3 Regalia, and the Acclimator. That's a fair amount of firepower.
yeah, they're now that the rest of the Hrothgar's fleet is not Hrothgar, Badger's fleet is actually here.
1 Regalia.
There goes a Regalia.
2 a wolf. Those are rather effective wolves. It can be difficult to make effective wolves.
Yeah, they've done fairly well in a whole bunch of fights at this point. I think there might be some like map edge AI hesitancy going on.
There's... The AI has like 1,001 problems.
I think it's mainly like in normal gameplay, a lot of these problems don't manifest.
Yes, they
because
do.
there's not these ones. Because there's Admiral AI on both sides.
Okay, granted, not this specific one, but speaking as somebody who never pilots and just watches the big fleets fight each other because that's my joy, trust me, the AI still has 1,000,001 problems.
Well, the AI is meant to be passive so that a player pilot can pilot. Like that's it's designed to be very
There's a
defensive.
difference between passive and flawed.
Well, that's fair. Why don't you pilot?
I'm not very good at it and I don't have fun with it.
Okay, that's fair.
I honestly just prefer carefully loading out my ships, watching them go, and recording the results so I can load them out better next time. I love watching giant fleet fights, giving orders carefully, just recording the results, figuring out how to do better at stuff. I don't know, it's a little hard to explain, but it's how I have fun.
Oh, I got you.
Anyway, Badger wins.
Yep. Pretty decent fight. But longer ranged, more kinetics wins against slightly shorter ranged.
Let's see, 6, 11, 22, 30, 60. He did lose a Pathfinder, unnecessarily. 70, 73. We have only 2 more fights. The first one is Idiopathic versus Wasara. So this is our last chance to see if Idio is truly deeply immortal. At least against the fleets in this round. Pardon?
Yes. I mean, I'm gonna bet on Idio just because, like, it is also a pretty good fleet on top of those stupid things.
Yeah.
On the other hand, I really like the Dobermans, but no, I bet on Idio. I hope I'm wrong.
Well, Wasara has about 30% of the bet, so there is some faith that maybe he could kill them.
I do think if one of those things just sits in front of a Doberman, the Doberman might have the DPS to overcome its hull regen. That would be very exciting.
The Doberman's Guardian Cannons are very heavy HE, and so is the Grand Salvo.
NC Magix is saying, biased commentators. Damn right biased. I hate those things.
We're allowed to be biased. I'm the one running the tournament. I am your god.
I'm allowed to be biased. I've done zero work for this.
That's true. I'm glad you have more faith than I do. Sorry, Wasara. I do think that, depending on what the Leonburgers do, the Apatsud should be able to get killed pretty quickly. Hello, Lurker. Purely because it's mostly meant as a fire platform while the Leonburgers do their thing. It's not itself very strong. And a Shiba blows up for some reason?
I think it, like, ran into the...
I think it did.
A bit weird. Ah, right.
Leon's. Rams a Peregrine. And the other one rams the same Peregrine.
Peregrine's doing surprisingly well after all of that. You know, it took some bonks, but...
You know, the Paragon's plasma lens projector, since it creates explosive impacts across the entire hull, there's a lot of Leonburger there to shoot.
Well, let's see. Oh, no, it's chasing a fighter or something.
Ow. Aw, it got knocked away. That's okay, the other one's here to take its place.
Okay, okay. You know, it's taking some... It's taking a little bit of hull damage.
That's the fastest I've seen one of those things hulls go... armors break, rather.
Okay, it's gonna have two Dobermans focus firing it.
And there's
use
the
your
salvo.
special system. Its hull is just not going down.
It is.
Oh no, there it is, there it is. Yes, yes. Gimme, gimme, gimme. Oh, I want so bad.
Time to
Keep
play
firing.
Where's the Lurker. Spot
Yes.
within the time limit to win.
I want to be wrong. Make me wrong. No, it's regenning. It's regenning faster than it's taking damage. No.
They're focusing on the other one now.
No, you were so close.
I mean, they've deleted any armor it had.
It doesn't matter. It's just its hull. It's already up to the third. Oh my god. Oh, so close. And now they're gonna squish a Paragon, because of course they are.
They actually are. Wow.
No, they're just gonna squish a Paragon. Paragons are paper mache compared to them. Ah.
That was
The
so...
Leon Burger is chuckling. That is the best captain's text. Ah. Frickin' Leons.
I mean, they have no armor left. If they pull something like that again, they will die.
I don't believe you. I don't believe you. I should believe you. You know what you're talking about, but I don't. My Tempest just got squished. Ah, fire your guns! Fire your guns!
They're distracted by all the irises and monitors as well. And the Paragon's down, so there's nothing to hold the line against the Apatsid.
And the Leons are at near full health again. Ah, so close to killing one of them. Well,
The Lurker's making a concerted effort.
So Lightning has pointed out that the Dobermans weren't even activating their defensive system and were getting double teamed by 2 Dobermans at once. And it still made it out. Like I can't believe they didn't even activate their damper field, and they still...
I'm pretty sure they had the damper field on for some of that.
I hope so.
Somebody will have to let Hideo know that whatever changes I do make, this is not happening again. I will find a way to finagle the rules specifically to prevent this.
Yeah.
Alright, 12, 24, 30.
I mean, I'm pretty sure the Leonbergers could have soloed this fleet simply by being unkillable and then CRing them out.
I disagree they would have soloed the fleet. The Paragon
Paragon might have done it.
If you took out the Paragon and the Apatsid, I think the Leons might have lost. The problem is the Paragon wasn't able to stand up to the Apatsid by itself, ultimately.
You know what? I would love to see just the Leons versus that entire fleet. Maybe they would lose. Because, you know, one of them did get down to like 25% hull. So maybe they would lose. But, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I might have a tester fleet next time, Otters. Clearly I need it. But for our very, very last fight, it's Wasara versus Pygar.
Well, I'm going to bet on Wasara again. Generally, this fleet's performed well, and unfortunately for Pygar, they just... I like their fleet, I really do. It just hasn't worked very well.
I know, I really like their fleet. They haven't won once.
Oh.
At this rate, they're going to end up... Round 1, Ring 1, did have a single person's fleet that didn't win a single fight, and that was Astral Tour, because he entered at the last minute with a very interesting, but nonetheless insufficient strategy, and Hrothgar and Pies are going to end up in the same place at this rate.
It's unfortunate, but other people found some really, really good options and made some quite good fleets.
Even discounting Ark and Hideo, there were just some really good strategies.
Yep.
There are some bets for Pygar, though.
I always wondered at the amount of the bets, because I see some people betting like 10 on the underdog, and then 1,000 on their expected winner.
Well, I can tell you the current fund is 1,500 lobsters, with Pygar holding 33% of that.
Oh, okay then.
And of course, Wasara bets on himself. Good to have that confidence.
Nice, nice. Good, good.
I think this is the first time Wasara's been on the south side. And Lurker goes boop.
Boop, 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 boop.
And send in the
Great,
Matsars.
Here are these really big missiles, and yeah,
The Liberator at least shielded that one decently.
Yeah, it took some armor hits, which is a little disappointing, because, like, why should you take armor hits versus long-range missiles? But, you know, it is what it is.
The thing is, I never want to completely discount Pygar, because they have a very good... They have a decent generalist fleet strategy, so there's always a chance that they'll manage to break whatever specialized strategy they're up against.
Right, it's not a bad fleet at all.
Ow.
Oh, that was both beautiful and... yow. Oh.
Painful.
Raw. I'm just gonna make grunting noises for the next rest of the stream. Oh.
This isn't... Look, do that when we have Kingdom of Terror on screen.
Oh.
Ooh. It is satisfying to watch those Dobermans fire, but it's also terrifying for whatever is under their sights.
Well, now the Doberman and the Paragon are next to each other. You know, previously the Paragon had been, like, blocking the Doberman shots. Now they're double teaming. It's just...
Ow!
Oh.
That Liberator took the worst of everything those two ships had to offer. That was immediate.
Yeah. That was, press F in chat. Anyway.
Naktakasong is over here trying to get the Lurker and leaving the Regalia without the buff.
I mean, the Lurker was very high flux, but it's just faster, so it can just... Yeah. Ow!
Those Plasma Lens projectors are really pretty.
They are beautiful and deadly. And they've also had, very good fire support supporting them, so that, like, the shields go down right before they hit.
Yep.
Man, the Dobermans are just charging. They smell weakness.
I guess so. This Lurker is ignoring the Naktakasong to try and kill a Marauder.
Well, the Naktakasong is kind of low DPS, so I'm not... Like,
Yeah.
it's not even the worst... It's not even the worst trade to do. Take a little bit of armor damage to get a kill.
Everything I wanted is happening. Yeah, Wasara, you've done, like, really well.
Yeah.
Which I approve of, because I love those Dobermans.
I love the Dobermans, too. I think the chat got this slightly. I deeply wanted them to kill the Leonbergers. Deeply. It didn't happen.
I understand. They came as close as I reasonably think they could have. If the Paragon had been able to hold out longer, or if the Paragon had been able to join them, even a few Plasma Lens hits would have done it.
Yeah. I mean, it's down to 25% hull. But then they got support. Did it just hurt itself to teleport forward like 5 feet?
Yes.
It's my next grunt.
If the Doberman had been all HE guns, then I'm sure they would have killed it, but, you know, that would have left it weak against other things. Ow.
Pretty plasma lens.
And that's why I keep talking about how the Plasma Lens would have done it. They deal a lot of damage, especially if there's a lot of hole to burst through.
That's really interesting. You know, I don't recall the plasma lens ever hitting them.
No, they didn't.
Yeah.
The Paragon had to deal with the Apatsid,
Right.
which was gun heavy enough that it was more than a threat.
Yeah, the Apatkud is not weak. It's just not immortal.
No, there's nothing particularly abusive about that Apatkud build, it's just powerful, and that's the perfect support for the Leonbergers.
Yep. That poor Regalia just flamed out, eating plasma lenses. There's actually a lot of... Is it the Lurker that's been flaming everything out, or is it those... Oh no, it's those Peregrines.
Yeah, the Peregrines have, what do they have? I think they have ion beams? Yeah, they have ion beams.
Yeah.
And in
They did a good
fairness, the
job over
Lurker's
there.
effect does it too.
Gotcha.
Well, and the Paragon has a tachyon lance for whenever anything gets in range of it. Oof. Ow.
Oof is
Ow.
right. I love the big gun forward firepower. It's very satisfying to watch.
Very satisfying. That mod list is for my normal stream setup. That is not the tournament mod list.
Your normal mod list is gigantic, right?
It's over 100 mods.
That is just excessive, sir.
No, it's not. It's the best way to play the game.
Just excessive. How can you ever know what anything is? With giant spreadsheets.
Why do I need to know what anything is, again? No, but seriously, I've played that way for so long that I kind of have opinions and knowledge about most of the ships and weapons across the entire modded community.
You have approximate knowledge of many things.
Specific knowledge of quite a few more than you think.
No, I believe
because
that.
I do have some favorites.
I just like the phrase approximate knowledge of many things.
That's fair, that's fair.
And here's this Doberman doing its job.
Yep, just being completely unapproachable.
Helplessly spinning enemies.
Yes, I recently added that mod, Jameson, because it's useful to me for my spreadsheets. Because, yes, I do use spreadsheets for that, too. Well, unfortunately, Pygar wasn't even able to put up much of a fight.
I mean, this is a very, very consistent, powerful fleet with a ton of gunpowder.
And good support.
Yep. Not a shame, though.
They did lose their Tempests.
Yep.
And that is our last match.
Excellent. Well, it's been a lovely 3.5 hours, except for the Leon burgers.
Now, over the course of the next week-ish, I'm going to work on what rules changes are going to be in effect for the second round. We will also probably run some exhibition matches because a few different ones have been requested of me. And if you're still available, then we'll definitely have you over again, Thaco.
Right. Yeah, it was lovely to be here.
Probably Nemo, too. Nemo's nice.
Nemo's awesome.
Isn't he? Lovely boy. Right. But for now, we are done. I will tabulate all the scores, and then I'll go over everything twice to make sure the scores are absolutely correct. We'll do exhibition matches, we'll change the rules, and we'll see what round 2 looks like.
Thanks for having me on. It was a fun time.
Absolutely. It's always lovely to have you, mate. Sayonara, everyone.